He's been taking batting practice for the last 3 days. He loves hitting, so he's looking forward to his at-bats, and he keeps talking about the home run he hit in Dodger Stadium opposite field, so I'm actually looking forward to see his at-bats today.
There is Blue Jays manager Charlie Montoyo talking about tonight's starter Hyunjin Ryu, who of course spent many years in the National League and is excited to hit once again tonight as the Blue Jays and Braves continue their 3-game set in Atlanta. It is the Honda pregame show brought to you by your Ontario Honda dealers. Rob Wong, Show Ali with you. First pitch coming up in about 17 minutes time, a 7:20 p.m. Eastern first pitch. A chilly one tonight at Truist Park, just 11 degrees Celsius, 53 Fahrenheit, so overcast tonight at the ballpark. So maybe the offense is going to be stymied a little bit here tonight's show with the weather, of course. But you just tweeting moments ago, your bold prediction for tonight is that Hyunjin Ryu will get on base more than once versus Atlanta. So this is going to be interesting to now see if you are correct or not.
So I guess if you look back to, yesterday's game and Robbie Ray, I want to say he had 2 at-bats, right? So, well, I guess you kind of have to, in your head, see how well the Blue Jays are doing, and certainly if they're hitting a little better today, maybe that means Ryu will come up to bat a couple times. But even if he only comes up to bat twice, I really do think, his swing, it's a very pretty swing for a pitcher, and I know that's like the ultimate qualification, right, for a pitcher, but I really do think, you heard the clip from Montoyo there before we started here on the pregame show, and yeah, I just think that Hyunjin Ryu, being, like you said, playing for years and years in the NL and having some familiarity with it, being used to it to a certain degree, a pretty swing, I'm bullish on him. I'm bullish on him beyond the stellar pitching we've come to expect here.
All right, so I just looked up the numbers because I was curious. In 119 games, 258 plate appearances, Hyunjin Ryu has a career OPS of 465, and on base of 226, and a batting average of 178. So there's not a 0% chance that he's not going to get on tonight. So that's working in your favor, of course, but it's not a very high percentage chance. I'm not a fan of pitchers hitting. Give me the universal DH. We saw a game today earlier between the Orioles and the Mets where Matt Harvey threw 3 90-mile-an-hour fastballs down the middle of the plate, and Taijuan Walker didn't even take the bat off of his shoulder. Like, what is the point of that? Give me guys that can hit. I made the joke on Twitter earlier as well. Last night, Robbie Ray's electric at bat against Bryce Wilson, where he grounded out to the pitcher. I thought I had a chance off the bat show, but alas, it was just a ground out to the pitcher. Really got me out of my seat for that one. We need to do away with the pitchers hitting. I can't stand it anymore.
Yeah, you know what? I don't think it's the worst idea. Honestly, I think it is definitely, it feels, and maybe because you and I are used to watching the Blue Jays, so we're used to seeing the DH, right? But it feels kind of like a novelty, right? It doesn't feel like something that's 100%, I don't know really what the right way to say it is. Like, it doesn't really feel like it's in almost like the spirit of baseball, right? If your goal is to score runs and get the ball into play, get the ball in the air and all these things, like, it just feels kind of off. But I totally acknowledge that is a result of me growing up watching the Blue Jays. If I grew up on the West Coast watching the Dodgers play, maybe I would feel differently, right? Maybe I would love watching pitchers hit, right? If I watched the Padres or the Dodgers or some other NL team growing up, maybe that would be the case. But yeah, I think it's just you get more out of your lineup when you can have a DH in there, and admittedly it does make you deploy your lineup a little differently. But yeah, I don't love it. Outside of playing as a pitcher in like MLB The Show, I don't love it.
Yeah, it's a little bit different. I think in this year's version of the game, you get the choice to be a two-way player.
Oh, that's right.
Shohei Ohtani. So that's part of the video game this year. But in real life, unless you're Shohei Ohtani, unless you're occasionally, Madison Bumgarner, Zach Greinke, Bartolo Colon 5 years ago, just running into one, pitchers just are not very good hitters at all, and it needs to be done away with. Hopefully, the universal DH is for good coming next year. Hopefully, that will be the start of that. So the Blue Jays looking to take the first 2 of 3 tonight against the Atlanta Braves, looking to clinch this series with a win tonight. A big comeback victory last night's show. They were down 2-0, down 3-2. The resiliency of this bunch continues to shine through. And I think it was just nice to see Vladimir Guerrero Jr. break out of that mini slump that he had with a big 3-hit game last night. That opposite field homer stung a couple of balls to the left side of the infield, of course, and got one of them through for the single. RBI single in the top of the eighth inning, I believe it was, to help the Blue Jays win that one last night. And we know this lineup obviously is, a lot better when Vladdy's hitting, but you look over the last little while here. I mean, Marcus Semien batting .400 in the month of May. Teoscar Hernandez has had a bunch of hits. Randall Grichuk, it was up and down, but he's still been a productive hitter, of course. Danny Jansen got on a bit of a run there. This lineup, even without George Springer, is, starting to carry this team just a little bit, as, their bullpen, of course, and their starting pitching has had a bit of a roller coaster ride here with the amount of injuries. The offense, we came into the season thinking this is what's going to carry this team, and it's starting to show some fruits of late, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, what is the average for runs scored in a game across Major League Baseball? Probably somewhere between 3 and 4, I would imagine, right? Probably around the 4 mark, if I had to guess. And the Blue Jays, I mean, I think more often than not, based on how this lineup has produced the entire years, really. I think you expect them almost to score more than 4 runs a game, right? Like, I don't think that's for a lineup this talented, this productive, that seems to have no real big holes in Semien batting first, and you'll probably see him go back down the order when Springer comes back, hopefully soon-ish. And yeah, just not a lot of holes in the batting order. And I've said to you before on the air that I think I'm slowly starting to talk myself into batting order matters less and less. But I really do like how they have deployed guys like Gurriel and Biggio, 6 and 7 today, for example, underneath Grichuk, right? I think it's been great. And like you started off by talking about Vladimir Guerrero Jr. I mean, I think we're past the point, honestly, even with that slump he endured for a couple of games. I think, Rob, we're past the point of simply saying he's an all-star, right? I think it's almost like it is a given that he is going to be the Blue Jays all-star this year. And I also think that, maybe the conversations around gold gloves, for example, and maybe even a handful of MVP votes, maybe MVP is like a couple of steps away, a couple of weeks away, months away, for example. But I don't think it's that far out of the question to be having those conversations, at least with a question mark next to Vladimir Guerrero Jr.'s name right now.
For sure. And he had, a few games where he didn't pick up a hit. And if that's going to be his biggest slump, or that's how it's going to be this year, then it's going to be a phenomenal season if he can, get back on track every once in a while here. He hadn't hit a home run since that 3-homer game against the Nationals, and goes deep last night. We'll see what he has in store tonight up against Max Fried. But just the offense on the whole, last night the Braves get 3 runs. There was a time at one point in April's show where it felt like 3 runs was Mount Everest for this team. So the fact that they can come back from a 3-run deficit, it doesn't feel as crazy as it did earlier in the season. That is definitely a good sign. Also a good sign, George Springer took batting practice today, and he'll begin a running program tomorrow. So still not expecting to see him show for at least a few more weeks. He obviously wants to get 100% right before he comes back. And when he does, he'll be playing center field as well. They're not just going to bring him back to DH like they did in the first go round, but some positive signs when it comes to George Springer there. Some other injury updates. Thomas Hatch is set to throw a couple of innings on Thursday as he works his way back, of course, from that elbow injury, the forearm injury. Joe Panik hit into the cage today. Julian Merriweather started to begin playing long toss, which is a good sign. And Patrick Murphy, who is a guy we haven't talked a lot about, threw an 18-pitch bullpen on Tuesday. He'll throw again later this week, so keep that name in mind for some point in the future with this team this season. Anthony Castro, hopeful to throw a bullpen this weekend. Still some tightness in the forearm. Rafael Delis, scheduled to throw a bullpen Friday with that calf. And finally, Alejandro Kirk with the hip flexor strain. Hitting off a tee and throwing, running will be the big hurdle, according to Charlie Montoyo. So it feels like I ran down the whole 26-man roster there with all of those injuries show, because that's just the way it has been so far.
I think the fact that the Jays are they're 18 and 16 on the season. I think that they are that. at that record with all the injuries they have sustained, because I mean, look, we have asked people to text in all season, and so many people, and I totally 100% get the frustration that they, you see a good outing from someone like Castro or Phelps or something, and then they get injured. Dolis coming in great, gets injured, Merriweather, so on, right? I totally get the frustration, but that the Jays are where they are right now, that they're above 500 without Springer, without all of those guys you just mentioned. I think you can only read that as a positive, right? Like, certainly guys getting injured is not a positive in and of itself, but that they are where they are without those guys, I think is definitely great. And also, you mentioned all those guys coming back soon. It's funny, when you were listing those names, all I could do is you kind of like hold your breath, right? Even though they're still on their way back and doing the bullpen and all those kinds of things. You just kind of think to yourself, man, I really hope they take it easy, because I would hate to, like, you would hate to see a guy come in and then re-aggravate an injury, like kind of like the oblique thing with Springer and then to the quad and so on, right? It's just, it is a little worrisome, because you think to yourself, with all the injuries, not just for the Blue Jays, but across Major League Baseball, it's definitely possible with the ramp up from 60 to 162 year over year, but I don't know. I have confidence that they'll come back, and that when this team has all of their reinforcements, the cavalry arrives, that they'll be able to kind of take off well beyond just a couple games above 500.
Yeah, very well said. The Blue Jays and Braves coming up in about 7 minutes' time. First pitch, Max Fried taking on Blue Jays ace Hyun-Jin Ryu in Game 2 of this series. Everybody, of course, keeping an eye on the Major League level, but a lot of people keeping an eye on AAA tonight, as the Buffalo Bisons taking on Rochester. Alek Manoah making his second start of the AAA season. I know our buddy Josh Goldberg just tweeted about it moments ago. Josh tugging at the collar a little bit. It's getting a little tight with his prediction that Alek Manoah would not pitch a single ball for the Blue Jays this year. And hey, 1 inning pitch, ho-hum, 6 pitches, 5 strikes, and 3 up, 3 down inning for Alek Manoah. So no strikeouts in that first inning, but a 6-pitch inning for one of the Blue Jays' top prospects. And I know Jeff Ware, the Bison's pitching coach, was on Writer's Block on Sportsnet 590 Fan earlier today and said he thinks he's really close. And, he's obviously getting his first taste of big league-ish action right now at AAA. A lot of guys that either are close to the major leagues or have tasted the major leagues. So this is a big test here, but just be prepared tonight's show. If he goes off, Alek Manoah does once again, social media is going to go bananas, I think.
I was going to say, what do you think, because we're going to do Jays talk after the end of the game, after the final out. I was going to say, what do you think the over-under, if Manoah has a good game, over-under on questions on the text line as to whether or not Alek Manoah will be called up in the next week? I'm going to say, if he does well, I'm going to set the number at 9.5. 9.5 texts about Alek Manoah tonight. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I think that's pretty safe. I was going to give a percentage. I was going to say at least 50% of the texts that we get tonight are going to involve Alek Manoah. But through 1 inning pitch, 6 pitches, 5 strikes, 3 up, 3 down for Manoah tonight in his start so far against the Rochester Red Wings, I believe, as they are playing in Trenton. So we'll keep you abreast of that throughout the evening. But that is Show Ali. He'll be back after the ball game with myself, as we'll do Jays Talk. Kevin Barker will join us as we'll recap tonight's ball game. Tonight's starting lineup is brought to you by Timber Mart. Don't strike out on your next home improvement project. Your friends at Timber Mart have the great advice and the products you need, so you'll get the job done right. Hit it out of the park with Timber Mart, Canada's building center. The Blue Jays come into this one 18-16 on the year. Here's manager Charlie Montoyo's lineup for game number 2. Leading off, it's the red-hot Marcus Semien, who had 2 more hits in last night's game. He's now batting .400 in the month of May. He'll be at second base tonight. The 2-hitter is Bo Bichette. He'll play shortstop. The 3-hitter, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who snapped out of a mini slump last night with 3 hits, including the game-tying homer. He'll be at first base. Teoscar Hernandez will man right field tonight. He's the cleanup hitter. Randall Grichuk starts in center field and will bat 5th. The 6-hitter and left fielder tonight is Lourdes Gurriel Jr. Kevin Biggio will man the hot corner and play third base. He will bat 7th. The 8-hitter is the masked man for the Jays. Danny Jansen will be doing the catching and batting 9th. And on the mound for the Blue Jays, it's 34-year-old left-hander Hyun-Jin Ryu. He's 2-2 in 6 starts this season with an ERA of 3.31. Ryu's arsenal features a changeup, cutter, four-seamer, and curveball. The 16 and 18 Braves are led by skipper Brian Snitker. Here's how he'll write out his lineup for tonight's ball game. Leading off, it's the right fielder Ronald Acuna Jr., who homered in last night's ball game. The first baseman and batting second is Freddie Freeman. The left fielder Marcell Ozuna, who also homered last night. He will be the 3-hitter this evening. The cleanup hitter, switch hitting second baseman Ozzie Albies. Austin Riley will man the hot corner for the Braves. Over at third base, he will bat fifth. The sixth hitter is shortstop Dansby Swanson. William Contreras back in as the masked man for the Braves tonight. He will catch and bat seventh. Hitting eighth, it's the center fielder Christian Pache. And batting ninth, it's the starting pitcher for the Braves, 27-year-old left-hander Max Fried. Fried 1-1 in 4 starts this year with an ugly ERA of 8.44. He'll feature a four-seamer, slider, curveball, and sinker. Here's your umpire crew for tonight's ball game. Over at first base, it is Scott Berry. At second, it is Mike Estabrook. Third base, it's Dan Iasonia. And behind the dish calling the balls and strikes, it will be Andy Fletcher. It is a cool 11 degrees Celsius, 53 Fahrenheit outdoors this evening at Truist Park. Before we get you down to Atlanta, let's take a look at the St. Louis Bar and Grill out of town scoreboard. Tonight at Fenway Park, the Red Sox hosting the Athletics. They are scoreless right now, heading to the bottom of the first. Also in the bottom of the first, the Yankees visiting the Rays in Tampa. Garrett Cole getting the start for the Bronx Bombers in that one. They are currently scoreless. Elsewhere, the Royals lead the Tigers 1-0 in the top of the first. Nationals and Phillies scoreless through one. Bottom of one in Colorado. Padres and Rockies are scoreless at Coors Field. Earlier, it was the New York Mets picking up a 7-1 win over the Baltimore Orioles as Matt Harvey, the former Met, making his return to New York, and a tough outing today for the man formerly known as the Dark Knights. The umpires are ready. The players are on the field. It's time to play ball. Let's send it down to Truist Park. Here's Dan Shulman and Buck Martinez.
The Blue Jays looking to build on last night's 5-3 win over the Braves. Once again, Dan Shulman to Buck Martinez, Hazel May. Hazel and I here with the Sportsnet studio in Toronto. Buck at his home in Florida, and the Blue Jays in Atlanta for the second night in a row. And they've got some supporters, all kinds of Canadians down at Truist Park, ready to root on Canada's team tonight. The Blue Jay lineup again, National League Park, no DH, very similar looking lineup, including, of course, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who had 3 hits last night in the 3 spot again. And right now, the National League teams he has faced, which are the Nationals and the Braves so far this year, they can't get him out. But everybody's having trouble getting Vladdy out this year. A talented lefty on the mound tonight for the Braves in Max Fried.
Boy, he sure is talented, Dan. He had 3 starts, and then he went on the IL with a hamstring injury. Came back last week and pitched against Washington and looked a little bit more like Max Fried. 5 innings, a run on 4 hits, and he had 6 strikeouts. He gave up a home run to Yan Gomes, but his numbers are ugly right now. Opponents average at 380, and the big thing for Fried is he hasn't had real good fastball command. Left-handers have been no problem for him. They're hitting just 154, but the Blue Jays are loaded with right-handers. They have hit 431 against him this year with 4 home runs. Fried needs to locate his fastball much better, but one thing in his favor is he's 7-0 in interleague games. No one has ever won their first 8 games. He and Justin Verlander both won their first 7 interleague games. He's trying to make it 8 in a row for the first time in interleague history. Defensively, Ozuna, Pache, and Acuna in the outfield. Dansby Swanson is a terrific defender. He won a Gold Glove last year. He is a very athletic pitcher. He's 6'4", and he's also got a terrific pickoff move. Since 2017, he has 14 pickoffs. That's the 3rd most behind Kyle Hendricks and Clayton Richard. So the Blue Jays, if they are going to run, they've got to be very selective when they pick their chances to steal against Max Fried. He's tough on the mound.
At the top of the lineup again for the Blue Jays, Marcus Semien. Andy Fletcher is the home plate umpire. And this ball game is underway with the pitch coming in high, ball 1 to Semien, who had 2 more hits last night, 2 for 5, extending his hitting streak to a 10-gamer, during which time he's hitting .400. He'll take just below the knees, and the count is 2-0.
Yeah, we talked about fastball command. He's got to throw strikes with his fastball. He's going to throw a lot of fastballs, 4-seamers and 2-seamers, and the Blue Jays have to be selective.
A bouncer hit just back of third. Austin Riley has it, and the throw in time to get Semien 1 down.
Yeah, that was a two-seam fastball. He'll throw about 43% fastballs between his four-seamer and his two-seamer, but he will use his slider and curveball when he gets to 2 strikes.
In the 2 spot again is Bo Bichette. Bo hitting .264 on the season, went 1 for 5 last night. Had a base hit and scored in that pivotal 3-run 8th inning when the Blue Jays took the lead and would hold on to it to win the ball game. First pitch, there's the curve, 75 miles an hour, and in there for a strike.
Yeah, it's a big breaking curveball. He's basically just a 3-pitch pitcher. Fastball, curveball, and slider.
There's the slider, and Bichette swings over the top of it and quickly 0-2.
Yeah, that slider, it'll be 85, 86 miles an hour. It's a much different breaking ball than his slow hook.
Fastball, Bo's late on it and fouls it off to stay alive. So Bichette's already seen all 3 pitches that Fried throws in this at bat.
Yeah, they were trying to get that fastball a little bit higher than that one he fouled off.
0-2 again, and again Bichette fights off a fastball. Guerrero waiting on deck. A big night last night for Vladdy, both offensively and defensively. And another foul off. Boy, Bichette getting some tough pitches, but he keeps fouling off 2-strike pitches.
But we have seen this time and time again. And you remember an at bat he had down in Tampa Bay against Tyler Glasnow when he battled and battled and battled. He had eventually struck out, but it led to a 4-run first inning because everybody behind him had a real good look at Glasnow.
And another foul off, 4 in a row by Bichette with an 0-2 count on him.
Yeah, this is the value of a 2-strike approach. He has a short swing. Brian Snitker can appreciate that. He knows that guys up here like Bichette, yeah, he'll strike out a lot, but he can really spoil some good pitchers' pitches.
Another 0-2 and another foul off. So a called strike, a swinging strike, and then 5 straight foul offs by Bichette in this at bat.
Yeah, he just has that terrific mindset with 2 strikes, just to be short and quick, let the ball travel, and then just protect the strike zone.
And now he flares one into shallow right field, and Acuna can't make the catch. Bichette will turn, put the brakes on, try to hustle back to first, and he gets thrown out. Acuna retreated, got the ball behind him, fired a strike to first, and Bo out trying to get back to the bag. And will the Blue Jays have a look at this?
Acuna's got a cannon for an arm. John Schneider is on the phone with the video group, and watch Acuna hustle back, pick up the ball, and recognize he's got to play at first base. He made a 1-hop throw to Bichette, and Bo believes he avoided the tag. Acuna now with 3 outfield assists if this play holds up, but he's one of the best right fielders in baseball. Well, Bo might be right. It looked like his right hand hit the base before Freeman's tag hit his chest. Watch him take his left hand away. This would be a tough one to overturn because Bo is out on the field. But it looked like his right hand touched the base before Freeman put the tag on him.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. And the Blue Jays have asked for a challenge, so the issue, as it always is there enough evidence to overturn it, to convince the umpires back at the replay command center in New York that Bichette was in there. And I think the mistake that he made, Buck, is he wasn't going 100% down to first. When he saw Acuna overrun the ball, that's when he turned on the jets around first, and then when he saw the ball didn't get that far away, put the brakes on and he slipped. So a couple of things went wrong there. And he is out. The call is upheld, and Bichette will be called out, so that's the second out of the inning.
Yeah, and the statement you made is a very valid one. And how many times have you said that when there's a close play and a player gets caught? Well, he didn't hustle out of the box, and then he saw the misplay, and then he really tried to make a play. Well, when you do that, you've got to admit to yourself, hey, I didn't hustle out of the box. I'll take the single and set the table for Vladdy. But you can say that time and time again, and oftentimes when a player makes a mistake, it's because he didn't break out of the box thinking it was a base hit.
It is scored a single for Bichette and then out 9-3 on the putout, trying to get it back to the bag as Guerrero bounces one towards third, and Riley makes a nice play throwing on the run to get Vladdy by a step, and that'll be that for the Blue Jays in the top of the first.
Dear Ontario, thanks for showing that adversity brings out our better selves, that we makes us stronger than I. Thanks for buying local, like the 2021 CRV LX, proudly built in Ontario, with great standard features like a remote starter. Lease one for 60 months right now from just $82 weekly at 2.99% and 0 down, including the $750 Honda bonus. Stay proud, Ontario. Your friends at Honda. Taxes extra, made with domestic and imported parts. By appointment only. See HondaOntario.com.
Welcome back to Blue Jays Baseball, powered by Jack Links. I'm Ron Wong. The first inning is brought to you by Armstrong Bird Food. Bring nature to your backyard with Armstrong, beating Blue Jays since 1986. Visit ArmstrongBirdFood.com. An unconventional 1-2-3 top of the first inning for Brave starter Max Fried. Got Marcus Semien to ground out. Gave up a single to Bo Bichette, who was thrown out trying to get back to first base by Ronald Acuna Jr. And then Vladimir Guerrero Jr. would ground out to third base to end the top of the first inning. Hyunjin Ryu making the start for the Blue Jays tonight. He'll face Acuna, Freeman, and Ozuna in the bottom of the first. Let's send it back to Truist Park in Atlanta.
No score going to the bottom of the first. Brian Snitker, the manager of the Atlanta Braves. Braves a game under 500 on the season and led by the guy right at the top of the order. Talked about him a lot last night, and you know, when you're as good as he is at the age of 23, you're going to put up big numbers and you're going to become one of the faces of the game, and that's what Ronald Acuna Jr. has become already. Tied for 6th in the majors, the most home runs since the start of the 2018 season. Hit 41 in 2019 and hit his major league leading 11th home run of the season in last night's game.
Hyunjin Ryu make his 7th start of the season. He's coming off his 2nd win last time out against Oakland. He returned off the IL. He had that strained glute muscle, and he has pitched 6 times against Atlanta in his career. This is the 5th time he's pitched against them on the road. He's got a 2-2 record with a .237 earned run average. Overall, he's been very good, and we have talked about it. Atlanta does not hit well against lefty pitching, except for this guy, Ronald Acuna Jr.
Ryu ready to go, and the first pitch of the bottom of the first is a changeup taken outside for ball 1. Actually, maybe a two-seam fastball that ran away. It was an unusual looking first pitch there from Ryu. His changeup doesn't have quite that much velocity, but whatever it was, missed outside ball 1. 1-0 on the way. That's a changeup, and it misses down and away ball 2.
Yeah, I think he just wanted to start off Acuna with a batting practice fastball. He just missed. He just kind of flipped it up there.
Danny Jansen behind the plate, and Ryu catches the outside corner. 2-1. Hyunjin Ryu has walked only 4 batters in 32 2/3 innings this year. And he is the undisputed ace of the staff, not coming off his best outing last time out, on an extra day of rest here tonight. There's a fastball in for a strike. 2-2.
Good pitchers win when they don't have their best stuff. And Ryu's a good pitcher. He's got 61 career wins against 37 losses, and he's just one of those guys that he will deal with whatever he takes to the mound and figure out how to best utilize those pitches on a given night.
And he gets Acuna swinging to begin the bottom of the first.
Let's take a look at the defense for the Blue Jays. In the outfield, a regular outfit of Gurriel, Grichuk, and Hernandez from left to right. Bo Bichette's at short, Kevin Biggio on the left side. They might get some activity with Ryu, the lefty, on the mound, and Marcus Semien's at second. Guerrero's at first. Danny Jansen always catches Ryu. Marcus Semien has been terrific playing at second base. He's committed 1 error, but that was over at third in a shift with the 4-man outfield, and he had a throwing error from third base.
Freddie Freeman, first pitch swinging, pops one up for Bichette. and quickly 2 down. The team as a whole, Buck, as you well know, is playing a lot better defensively the last couple of weeks. The Blue Jays have committed only 3 errors in their last 14 games.
Yeah, they've had 4 complete clean games, 4 straight games without committing an error. And, you know, it's all about focus and concentration. And, of course, Bichette and Biggio really had a rough start to their season, but they have both settled down at their respective positions.
Here's Marcell Ozuna, hit a home run in last night's game. And right at the knees, Ryu is in there with a called strike 1.
Now, here's a guy that's really kind of perplexing for the Braves. He wore out left-handed pitching last year, and he's hitting .094 against lefties this year.
He's the kind of guy, though, you want to get out of town before the bat wakes up. I mean, he's too good, and he's been doing it too long to continue to struggle like he's struggling right now.
Yeah, a terrific year last year, of course. He led the team in home runs, RBIs, and he's just one of those guys. And when he gets hot, it doesn't make any difference who he's facing. He'll hit everything.
Ryu away out in front. No balls, 2 strikes. And Ozuna hooks one hard, but way foul down the left field line.
He's got an explosive bat. Last night he hit an 0-2 fastball for a home run off Robbie Ray. It was the 8th time he had hit an 0-2 home run in his career.
Oh-2 again. And a changeup lined into center field. That'll be a 2-out base hit for Marcell Ozuna.
Yeah, he cut a swing down right there, and he wasn't trying to hit it out of the yard, and that's what you have to do against Ryu to be successful. And this changeup gets a little bit too much of the plate, and I think that's been an issue for Ryu lately. His changeup, he hasn't had the same location that we saw early in the season with that changeup. He's left a few changeups over the heart of the plate, and that was one of them.
So now Ozzie Albies, the cleanup hitter and the second baseman for the Atlanta Braves. Switch hitter batting for the right side against Ryu. And Albies will ask for time. They play him to pull a little bit on the infield and around to the opposite field in the outfield. Pretty big hole on the right side of the infield with Guerrero holding Ozuna on. As Albies pops one up at the back of the plate and back into the seats, 0-1.
When you look at these Braves and their averages against left-handed pitching, as we mentioned, Acuna came in the game batting .385, but he is now 0 for 6 against Hyunjin Ryu. Albies is hitting .160. Riley's hitting .174. Christian Pache down in the 8th spot is just 2 for 12 early on this season.
Strange.
Haven't done much against lefties.
Yeah, they've got so many right-handed batters. Here's a bouncer to third. Biggio will play it the short way to force the lead runner. And that'll be that. 1 inning in the books in Atlanta. No score.
Hello, I am water.
And I am earth, and we are just made for each other.
I come down as rain and hit on earth.
Together we make mud. Sweet, beautiful mud.
Some find us challenging.
While all those Subarus with symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive revel in our creation.
Mud, our special gift to the world.
Enjoy Subaru's all-weather drive event with great rates on 2021 Subaru Foresters. Go online to build and price yours and adventure on in all weather.
Baseball's back. Why not gather around your home base with Miller Lite's MLB Team Cans? 90 calories and 3 grams of carbs in every 355 milliliters. Available at select retailers for limited time. Must be legal drinking age. MLB trademarks used with permission.
What do guests think of Tim's new vanilla cream cold brew coffee?
It's like smooth. That's the vibe.
Velvety smooth. Tim's new cold brew coffee. Enjoy trying it. Enjoy describing it. It's time for Tim's at participating restaurants in Canada.
Welcome back. In 2019, when Hyunjin Ryu made headlines with his arm, he made an even bigger splash with the bat. You see, on September 19th, he took an 0-2 fastball off of the Rockies' Antonio Senzatella and drove it out for his first and only home run of his career in the final regular season game at Chavez Ravine. A momentous occasion that drew chants of Babe Ruth from the Dodgers dugout. We found out later Ryu used eventual NL MVP Cody Bellinger's bat for his home run. Bellinger noted postgame that Ryu's career milestone didn't come as a surprise to those who've watched him take cuts in the cage. He is unbelievable at batting practice, Bellinger said. It's really shocking. He's never hit one out before. Jays coach John Schneider echoed those sentiments after watching BP. He told me Ryu has got some serious power. Dan.
All right, Hazel, looking forward to seeing him bat. At some point tonight, we did watch a couple of his BP sessions during the week on our monitors pregame, and like Robbie Ray, who we talked about last night, he was getting after it in BP, so we'll see how it translates into the game. No score going top two. Teoscar Hernandez will lead it off. It'll be Hernandez, Randall Grichuk, Lourdes Gurriel Jr., who is up a spot in the lineup because there's a lefty on the mound for Atlanta. Teoscar had 3 base hits last night, didn't hit any of them hard as he takes outside ball 2. A couple of flares to right field, and then remember the ball that Freddie Freeman picked up and didn't throw and had nowhere to go? That was off Teoscar's bat as well. So the baseball gods were smiling on Teoscar last night, as Fried is all over the place right now, wants a new baseball. It's 3-0.
Yeah, Teoscar had one well-hit ball, but he lined out to the shortstop in the 4th inning. But it was his second 3-hit game of the season. The other came opening day against the Yankees. But remember, he missed 16 games, and he's just getting his timing down.
And with a strike, 3-1. Great year last year for Fried. Finished 5th in Cy Young balloting, 7-0, 2.25 ERA. The opening day starter for the Braves this year. But still trying to get back on track to where he was during the 2020 season. Upstairs, and Hernandez draws a leadoff walk.
When you look at his season a year ago, he had 11 starts. He did not give up a home run in his first 10 starts. For the entire season, he went 7-0 with a 225 earned run average. He gave up 2 home runs in his final start against the Miami Marlins. Jesus Aguilar and Brian Anderson hit home runs off him, and those were the only 2 home runs he gave up all season last year. He was really throwing great.
Randall Grichuk, the batter, with Hernandez aboard. And a slow curve misses down and into Grichuk, who's in a little bit of a mini funk. 0 for his last 10. Still off to a terrific start this year, hitting .286. The OPS just over 800, which is about 100 points better than major league average. Offense is down. Pitch is inside, ball 2. I mean, pitchers are just throwing so hard and putting so much spin on the ball, and an 802, an 800 OPS is significantly above major league average right now. Grichuk has still had a very good 5-6 weeks to start his season.
Yeah, even on this road trip, he's hit .250, and as you mentioned, things haven't really gone well for him. But what he is doing, he's hitting with runners in scoring position. He's got 9 ribbies on this trip on just 8 hits. So his focus has been awfully key, and especially when he has a chance to drive in runs.
Fried battling control issues in the early going. And pumps into strike that Grichuk fouls off, 2-1.
Yeah, and this has been an ongoing issue for Max Fried. His fastball location has not been good. Even when he throws it for a strike, he's not being able to locate it as consistently as he did last year, and even going back to 2019.
A long look at Hernandez, and now the 2-1. Grichuk gets jammed and lifts a lazy fly ball to right field. Easy play for Acuna, 1 down.
Well, Fried's got all of the pitches to be very successful. We mentioned that he had a great season, 7-0 in 2020. And when you look at his 2 years, 19 and 20, he had 24 wins in those 2 seasons. Only Garrett Cole had more wins in the majors than Max Fried over those 2 seasons.
So 1 on, 1 out, and now Lourdes Gurriel Jr. Lourdes is just 4 for 31 on the road trip to Oakland, Houston, and now Atlanta. And a guy who swung the bat so well last year has never really been able to get it going this season. Hitting just 200 and OPS barely over 500. Chasing a lot, although he's always been a free swinger. But boy, could the Blue Jays use this bat to really lengthen the lineup. He lifts a fly ball to left field, fairly deep, but Ozuna is back and makes the catch, 2 down. Along with Buck Martinez and Hazel May, I'm Dan Shulman. The Blue Jays and the Braves in the second game of 3. No score, top of the second. And here's Cavan Biggio playing third, batting 7th. The lone left-handed bat in the lineup tonight against the lefty Max Fried. And a throw to first. Hernandez back in easily.
Yeah, Fried's got a terrific pickoff move. That was just the old calling card pedestrian move. He's just saying, okay, I know you're over there. But he's got one of the best pickoff moves in all of baseball.
First pitch to Biggio, 94, and in there for a strike, 0-1. The Braves as a team have a 4.55 ERA on the season, 24th among the 30 major league clubs. Another throw to first. Hernandez was running. Freeman down to Swanson, and they put the tag on Teoscar to get him and to retire the side. 1-3-6 on the putout to the bottom of the second. No score.
Try Jack Link's beef jerky. Available in jumbo-sized bags. It's the beef jerky version of having a donut on your bat in the on-deck circle. Jack Link's. Feed your wild side.
Make your next career move with 2 men in a truck. The company is hiring motivated and enthusiastic team members for mover, driver, and customer service positions. And if you're looking for more, professional advancement is always a possibility. In fact, 75% of 2 men in a truck managers started in frontline positions. Now is the time to apply. Visit 2meninatruck.ca and click careers.
2 men and a truck, the movers who care.
And here comes the big bopper, Jack Link's. Not the fastest runner, but boy, can he crush it. Try Jack Link's jumbo bags of beef jerky. Jack Link's. Feed your wild side.
Welcome back to Blue Jays Baseball, powered by Jack Link's. I'm Rob Wong. The Force on the Field brought to you by Forcefield Protective Clothing, safety apparel engineered for Canada. Forcefield has the clothing and gloves you need on the job. With high-vis jackets, tees, gloves, and more, visit highvissafety.ca. That's HIVIS safety.ca today. Hyunjin Ryu on the hill, looking to keep this one a scoreless ball game as they head to the bottom of the second inning. Let's send it back to Dan Shulman and Buck Martinez.
While we can't be together in Toronto right now, we need you to cheer from home all season long. Visit the Blue Jays Cheer from Home Hub for exciting activities and opportunities to help you feel like you're part of the action. Go to bluejays.com/cheerfromhome for more details and keep checking back for updates and new content. Speaking of people who can't all be together in Toronto right now, the Toronto Arrows rugby team unable to play in Toronto right now. Atlanta is their temporary home, and there they are, taking in the Blue Jays game at Truist Park. So kind of fun when the team from your town is in the town that you're now in, and you can go see a game. Austin Riley, first pitch swinging, lifts a fly ball to shallow left field. Jogging in Gurriel, 1 down.
Yeah, he just kind of waved at that changeup, and Ryu has had a couple of one-pitch outs here. He got Freddie Freeman to pop out to the shortstop on 1 pitch, and now he gets Austin Riley on 1 pitch here to start the second.
That'll bring up Dansby Swanson, the Atlanta shortstop. Off to a bit of a slow start, hitting .219 on the season. Atlanta, like the Blue Jays, they have a lot of power. And even though the batting averages are generally quite low, they're still an above-average offensive team because of that power. Atlanta's hit 51 homers, the most in the majors. Blue Jays are second at 49 as Ryu pumps in a first-pitch strike.
Ryu, for his career, has averaged 60% first pitch strikes, and he's right there at that number again this year. And that's always a key to any pitcher's success, pitching ahead and putting the hitter on a defensive mindset.
Does not get the call on that curveball. It's called outside, so it's 1-1 on Swanson. Blue Jays got 6 innings out of Robbie Ray last night, and a nice job by a trio of relievers out of the bullpen to help them beat the Braves 5-3. 1-1, swing and a miss at a cutter, 1-2, and it's kind of at the point, Buck, with Ryu and Ray and Matz, the 3 total regular guys in the rotation, where Charlie Montoyo, Pete Walker, I mean, they're counting on 6 innings every time out. Those 3 have to give them as much as they can. Good curveball fouled off there by Swanson. And then, you wait and see what you can get. Anthony Kay on the right there, along with Ray and Matz. He figures to get another start on the weekend. Ross Stripling is going to start tomorrow, and we'll see how those 2 guys do in their next effort.
Yeah, Ray with 10 strikeouts snapped a streak of 148 consecutive games by the Blue Jays pitchers without double-digit strikeouts, going back to 2019 when Aaron Sanchez had a double-digit strikeout game.
Little upstairs, 2-2 to Swanson.
That's one of the few times we have seen Danny Jansen have to go through several different signs. He and Ryu have really been on the same page this season. Hyunjin Ryu is a tough guy to catch because he can do so many things, and he changes game plans mid-game.
Boy, another good changeup. That one down, and Swanson does well to get a piece of it.
Yeah, that's where he has to be with that changeup. And it's in the strike zone for the longest time, and then just as it gets into that hitting zone, it drops out. And when you get hitters to reach like that, that's when Ryu will say, okay, now I can throw my cutter inside or my fastball inside.
Went for the cutter away, but he missed by a wide margin off the outside corner. But now a full count on Swanson.
Came out of his delivery, and his arm was dragging behind his body, and he couldn't really complete that pitch. You've got to finish that cutter out in front, get on top of it with your hand, and then you can command it on the outside corner.
3-2, and a fastball right on the inside corner for strike 3 called.
Yeah, I'd like to see Ryu use his fastball a little bit more just like that, because everybody in baseball knows he's got a great changeup. He throws a cutter, and this is 91 miles an hour. And after the changeup away that Swanson fouled off, and then the bad cutter away, and they probably think, well, he'll come back with a cutter, because pitchers will do that. When they throw one bad cutter, they make an adjustment, but he threw a great fastball there.
This will be interesting. A very young, aggressive hitter in William Contreras facing Hyunjin Ryu. And Ryu starts it with a curveball, swung on and missed, 0-1. We'll see if Contreras tries to think along with Ryu, if Ryu can outthink him, outguess him in terms of what the pitch sequencing will be. 0-1, and a changeup fouled off at the plate, and it's 0-2.
As a hitter, you can't think along with Ryu. The catchers can't even think along with Ryu, so why would you even try? Just go with what you see. You have to let him throw the ball. He doesn't have that great velocity, but you can't guess with him, because you'll be wrong every time.
0-2, and the cutter misses just outside. A ball and 2 strikes.
He was headed to the dugout. He thought he had caught that outside corner. That was a much better cutter than the one he threw to Dansby Swanson in the previous at bat.
One, 2 on the way. Curveball, and this time Contreras won't bite, so it's 2-2. Ryu hasn't thrown him a fastball yet. Threw him the cut fastball, but not the 4-seamer. He's thrown him a couple of curves. He's thrown him a change. Another young hitter on deck, and Christian Apache, if the inning were to continue. 2-2. And he got him. Swing and a miss at a changeup. And Hyunjin Ryu is pretty sharp in the early going tonight.
Dear Ontario, thanks for showing that adversity brings out our better selves, that we makes us stronger than I. Thanks for buying local, like the 2021 CRV LX, proudly built in Ontario, with great standard features like a remote starter. Lease one for 60 months right now from just $82 weekly at 2.99% and 0 down, including the $750 Honda bonus. Stay proud, Ontario. Your friends at Honda. Taxes extra, made with domestic and imported parts. By appointment only. See HondaOntario.com.
Baseball's back. Why not gather around your home base with Miller Lite's MLB Team Cans? 90 calories and 3 grams of carbs in every 355 milliliters. Available at select retailers for limited time. Must be legal drinking age. MLB trademarks used with permission.
Your census invitation has arrived in the mail. Your participation will help plan programs and services for your community. Your census, your community, your future. A message from the Government of Canada.
No score here in the bottom of the second inning, and Brave starter Max Fried was once part of the dream trio of former high school teammates who are now key contributors in the major leagues. Fried, Lucas Giolito of the White Sox, and Jack Flaherty of the Cardinals all pitched for Harvard Westlake Prep School in Los Angeles just 9 years ago. All three were opening day starters this year for their respective clubs, and just like Vladdy, Bo, and Cavan in their teens, this trio often spoke about the day they would all be in the big leagues at the same time. All three were first-round draft picks. All three became All-Stars. Fried and Flaherty still work out at Harvard Westlake in the offseason. It is remarkable to think 10% of the majors' opening day starters in 2021, Dan, all came from the same high school in California.
It is crazy. How'd you like to be the pitching coach for that team in high school, or the manager of that team in high school, and to have 3 future first-round picks? I would assume, Buck, they won a whole lot more than they lost at Harvard Westlake when those guys were there.
Yeah, my son Casey played at Notre Dame High School, and they played him once in a while. Notre Dame and Harvard Westlake are two of the great athletic schools in the Valley out in California, and yeah, Harvard Westlake is one of the prep schools that you look at the alumni out of that school, and it's impressive. Not only baseball players, but actors and senators and politicians, and it's incredible. Astronauts, it's unbelievable the people that have gone to Harvard Westlake.
No score, top of the third. Kevin Biggio leads it off. Biggio was at the plate when Teoscar Hernandez was thrown out trying to steal to end the top of the second. The 1-1 from Fried, and Biggio lifts a fly ball left center field. Pretty well hit, but it will be caught by Pache racing into the alley, making the play 1 down.
Yeah, Fried just threw that ball up and away, and he really got a smoke a ball as a left-handed hitter and hit it out here. It's cool in Atlanta, and it's been drizzling. No team hit on the field. It was covered with a tarp most of the afternoon, and it wasn't until late in the day they took the tarp off. But you can see the players are bundled up. They got long sleeve shirts on, and everybody's got their hoodies on. It's a cool night in Atlanta.
Danny Jansen swing and a miss at a first pitch curveball. National League Park, so Jansen hitting in the 8th spot. Hyunjin Ryu is on deck right now for the Blue Jays. And the 0-1 fastball comes in high, a ball and a strike. Now Jansen lifts a fly ball to right center field. Acuna and Pache are there, and it'll be Acuna to make the grab for out number 2.
Yeah, you can see the ball's just not carrying, and I know both those balls weren't hit that well, but it's going to take a bolt to get it out of here tonight. And here comes Ryu. You know he's been thinking about this for quite a while.
Yeah. Hazel talked about the 1 home run that he hit as a Dodger back in 2019. Overall in his big league career, a 178 hitter with 10 extra base hits. And a very unusual in the sense that he is a left-handed thrower and a right-handed batter. And you never like to see the pitcher with his throwing arm exposed the way, his front arm, the way it is for Ryu, as he takes a fastball at the knees, and it's 1-1.
Yeah, a lot of pitchers in the National League and before the DH in the American League would turn around and bat the opposite way to protect that pitching arm.
What'd you think of that hack on the foul back?
It wasn't pretty. Now, he's looking for something on the inner half. He's not going to go opposite field, although he did in Dodger Stadium hit that ball to deep right center. That home run he hit.
And a swing and a miss. Fried will get him. So Ryu strikes out, and it's on to the bottom of the third in a scoreless game.
Buying a new car can be a difficult decision, but not at Mazda of Toronto, Ontario's #1 Mazda volume dealer 7 years in a row. Come in during the Discover the Drive event for some amazing deals that will make your decision easy, including 0% purchase financing and up to a $1,000 Mazda bonus on select new models. Book an appointment today.
I'm George Epitropo from Mazda of Toronto. Come in and find out why we're #1. We're on Yonge, just south of Steeles. See MazdaToronto.com.
I'm Zach Hyman. Every time I get on the ice, my job is to give 100%. So when my family had an accident, we chose Sokoloff Lawyers to protect, defend, and fight for our rights. We made the right choice.
Thanks, Zach. I'm Wendy Sokoloff of Sokoloff Lawyers. If your insurance company has denied your long-term disability claim, call us at Sokoloff Lawyers.
Trust the team at Sokoloff Lawyers to work as hard for you as I do on the ice.
416-966-HURT or visit areyouhurt.ca.
Don't put it off, call Sokoloff.
Welcome back to Blue Jays Baseball, powered by Jack Links. I'm Rob Wong. The injury report is brought to you by Sokoloff Lawyers. Have you been seriously injured in an accident and don't know your rights? Don't let your insurance company play hardball with you and your family. Let Sokoloff Lawyers go to bat for you. Don't put it off. Call Wendy Sokoloff or visit areyouhurt.ca. George Springer took batting practice in the cage today. He'll start a running progression tomorrow. Right now, it's the Blue Jays and Braves scoreless heading to the bottom of the third inning.
Hyunjin Ryu back on the mound, bottom of the third. No score between the Blue Jays and the Braves. And it's not just that he's been good this year or last year as a Blue Jay. Go back to his last couple of years with the Dodgers as well. Since 2018, only one pitcher has a better ERA in the majors than Hyunjin Ryu, and that's Jacob deGrom. Justin Verlander, Garrett Cole, Clayton Kershaw rounding out the top five. How would you line these guys up 1 through 5 if you were managing that rotation, Buck?
I'd throw their names in the hat and just draw one out at a time. I wasn't really concerned about who starts, but I'd go back to managing if I had that rotation.
Yeah, that's fair.
My, oh my. And Ryu is the exception on that list, is the fact that he doesn't throw hard. He doesn't throw 100 like those guys that throw 100, Cole and deGrom. But boy, oh boy, can he pitch. Man, he is a catcher's dream for sure. I mean, because you can basically throw anything down there, and he'll say, no, I don't want that one just now. Okay, throw the next one. I don't care. But he is really good.
Ryu, 34 years of age. His first year with the Dodgers was 2013 as a 26-year-old. Went 14-8 with an ERA of 3. The biggest issue for him when he's had issues really has been health. Just hasn't been all that durable at times. Made all 12 starts for the Blue Jays last year. Started a game in the playoffs. Has missed 1 start this year. And again, the Blue Jays love to give him that extra day whenever they can. He's on an extra day now. And wouldn't they love to get 30 starts out of him this season? The 0-1 to Christian Pache bounces in a ball and a strike.
He pitched in Korea for 7 seasons. He pitched as a 19-year-old in 2006 and threw 200 2/3 innings, 201 2/3 innings. And I believe that that's where he learned how to pitch. He just had so many opportunities to learn how to pitch. And we are so protective of our pitchers nowadays, especially the young ones. I think you just got to go out there and pitch. That's where you learn how to command your pitches, change speeds, locate your pitches. But Ryu in Korea, his first 2 years as a 19-year-old and a 20-year-old, threw 200 innings.
And he makes quick work of Pache for his 4th strikeout of the night already.
Yeah, you talked about the inexperience of the catcher Contreras and Pache, and they both chased borderline pitches. And you know what, Ryu, I mean, he'll carve up this part of the lineup. And we had talked about the only guy that has really done anything against lefty pitching is Acuna, and he is 0 for 6 against Ryu.
So here's the pitcher, Max Fried, left-handed batter. And a strike taken. Fried is 2 for 6 with a double this year. and a 182 career hitter in the big leagues. So by pitcher standards, he can swing the bat a little bit. The 0-1. And a swing and a ground ball, base hit past a diving Semien into right center field.
Now, Fried is now 3 for 7 this season, and it's so important. And we talked about Smoltz and Glavine and Maddox when they were in their heyday with Atlanta. But when you get a base hit and turn the lineup over as a pitcher, now you've got one of the best players in the game coming up behind you, and you give yourself a chance to get an early lead. Semien did everything he could to flag it down, but it sneaks under his glove. And Fried, as we mentioned, he is now 3 for 7 on the season.
So 1 on, 1 out, bottom of the third. Acuna struck out his first time up against Ryu. No score between the Blue Jays and the Braves. And a changeup that Acuna sends to center field. It's pretty deep, but Grichuk will have room on the warning track for out number 2.
First baseman number 5, Freddie Freeman.
Boy, it looked like on that swing, like Acuna didn't get all of it, like he was a little out in front of the changeup. Bucky still hit the ball 390 feet.
Yeah, and you can see the relievers up on the top of your screen waving it out of the ballpark. They were brave relievers, of course, and it's just not carrying. But you're right. I didn't think that ball was going to carry that far, but it just kept going.
Freddie Freeman, first pitch swinging, fouls one down the left field line. Freeman popped up his first time up and is now 4 for 33 against left-handed pitching this season.
Yeah, and he went after the first pitch in both of his plate appearances so far. I just think he says, you know what, that might be the best one I get to hit, because I'm going to see a combination of pitches from Ryu.
0-1, and it's right at the top of the zone for a called strike. Freeman's not sure. Freeman's not a big arguer at the plate, but by stepping out and the facial expression that he's got, you can tell he didn't love that call.
No, he reacted as if he was really surprised that that was strike 2.
Tremendous efficiency in the early going by Ryu. Just 35 pitches so far. And the 0-2 will get him swinging. He strikes out Freeman on 3 pitches. 5 strikeouts through 3 scoreless innings for Ryu.
Dear Ontario, thanks for meeting hardship with compassion. Thanks for remembering the greater good. Thanks for supporting local. Like the 2021 Civic LX, proudly built in Ontario and loaded with standard features like Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Lease one for 60 months today from just $62 weekly at 0.99% and 0 down, including a $750 Honda bonus. Stay strong, Ontario. Your friends at Honda. Taxes extra made with domestic and imported parts. By appointment only. See HondaOntario.com.
Bird feeders are a great way to bring nature to your backyard. They're also great for getting the kids away from the screen and outside into the fresh air. Hi, I'm Ben Wagner, and if you want the most popular yard on the block, look for Armstrong Bird Food at your local retailer. Armstrong has high-quality seed blends, suets, and treats that attract a wide variety of birds. Visit ArmstrongBirdFood.com for your nearest retailer. Armstrong Bird Food, feeding Blue Jays and other feathered friends since 1986.
Hi, this is Kevin Biggio, and you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to Blue Jays Baseball, powered by Jack Links. I'm Rob Wong. Let's take a look at the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. The Red Sox and A's currently tied at 1 in the top of the third, while in the fourth, the Yankees and the Rays are scoreless. Blue Jays and Braves still looking for that first run of the game. They're headed to the top of the fourth.
You're 3 picks away from a chance at great prizes. Play Blue Jays Pick 3, presented by Budweiser, every game day for your chance to win an exciting grand prize, including a barbecue and a Bud fridge. Visit BlueJays.com/ballpark app for more details, or scan the QR code shown here on your mobile phone. We showed you a whole section of Blue Jay fans off the top of the show tonight, and apparently it's the Atlanta Canadian Club. There are about 80 of them at the game tonight. People from Canada who I guess now have relocated for one reason or another to Atlanta, and as a group they are down there taking in a Blue Jays ball game. So hello to all of them enjoying the game down at Truist Park tonight.
You can see it's a cool night. People are bundled up and they got blankets and hoodies and sweatshirts, and just a cool night there in Hotlanta. Not Hotlanta yet.
No. We are told it's 11 Celsius, 52 Fahrenheit. A lot of people are bundled up. Even Charlie Montoya, when we saw him, he was bundled up in the dugout. No score going to the top of the fourth. Top of the order for the Blue Jays. Marcus Semien will lead it off. He grounded out to third his first time up. And he takes a pitch over the inside corner, called strike one.
Semien has a home run against Max Fried. He's now 2 for 4 against Fried. He grounded out on a sinker his first time up.
Well, he has been locked in ever since the Blue Jays got out to Oakland, basically. Had a great series out there, 7 hits in the 4-game series. 1-1, and he got his foot, I believe, fouled that one off his left foot and then down the line. And he is now assessing the situation and not very happy about it. It's 1-2 as he tries to walk off the pane.
Yeah, this is bad enough on a hot summer night, but boy, on a cold night, you can see it hits him right on the top of the ankle. And he didn't wear one of those shin guards, and he might wear one in his next at bat. But I mean, just think about it. Go reach down and feel that shin bone and how little protection you have there, and he hit it squarely on that shin bone above his ankle. I bet you he wears one next at bat.
I think you might be right. Back in the box and ready to go. A ball and 2 strikes on Semien. And he fights off a fastball. They wanted to come in on Semien there, but it was left out over the plate.
Yeah, and that's what we have talked about with Fried. His fastball command has been off a tick. Velocity is good, movement's good, but he hasn't hit his spots as he did a couple of years in a row.
And now he bounces a curveball out in front of the plate. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The Braves got some bad news on the pitching front today, and this will be of interest to Canadian baseball fans as well. Unfortunately, Mike Soroka is still experiencing discomfort in his Achilles. Remember, he tore his Achilles early last season, and the press release put out by the Braves said that he will undergo exploratory surgery. As Semien swings and misses, sounds like, Buck, they're going to go in there and just see what they can find because something isn't feeling right for Soroka.
Yeah, Mike's going to go back to Green Bay to see the same doctor that did the initial surgery, and he just said it just doesn't feel right. Brian Snitker addressed the situation in his pregame Zoom call, and Snitker himself has had the Achilles surgery, so he said, I can relate. He said, I feel terrible for Mike, but he said Soroka has handled it very well.
Bichette gets jammed, little roller back towards the mound, and Fried will jump on it and fire to first to get him with relative ease. 2 down.
And we mentioned that he won a Gold Glove last year. He's a cat off the mound, and that was a swinging bunt right out in front of home. The catcher wasn't going to have a shot at it, but look how quickly he gets on this. He's very athletic. He's a big guy. He's 6'4", but he turns and fires a strike in time to retire Bichette.
Two down for Guerrero, who grounded out to third his first time up. And a fastball over the inside corner for strike one. Again, Vladdy with a big night last night, 3 for 5. Home run to right. Line drive base hit to left. The hardest hit ball he has hit this year. And then an infield hit to deep short his last time up. The 0-1 and a little bit inside, a ball and a strike. And for reasons we do not know at this moment, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is using a Marcell Ozuna bat in this game. I assume he's doing it with permission from Ozuna. I assume that Ozuna is aware of that, but Boy, Ozuna's teammates might not like him if Vladdy hits one out with that bat. And he has swung and hit a fly ball to left field. And Ozuna says, you know what? I'm going to make the catch on the ball that my bat just hit. And the Blue Jays go 1, 2, 3 in the top of the fourth.
We're two men and a truck. And we've got lots of men and lots of trucks. Whether you're planning a move to a new home or to a new office down the hall, big or small, we move them all. We even sell packing and moving supplies. But no matter what you need, we'll do it with a smile. With a 96% referral rating and the professionalism you can trust, the choice is simple. So when you're planning your next move, call Two Men and a Truck.
2 men and a truck, the movers who care.
Dear Ontario, thanks for showing that adversity brings out our better selves, that we makes us stronger than I. Thanks for buying local, like the 2021 CRV LX, proudly built in Ontario, with great standard features like a remote starter. Lease one for 60 months right now from just $82 weekly at 2.99% and zero down, including the $750 Honda bonus. Stay proud, Ontario. Your friends at Honda. Taxes extra made with domestic and imported parts. By appointment only. See HondaOntario.com.
Welcome back to Blue Jays Baseball, powered by Jack Links. I'm Rob Wong. The broadcast booth is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Protect your vehicle with Crown, Canada's #1 rust protection. Book your appointment today. Crown, protect, maintain, save. Blue Jays and Braves still looking for the first run of the ball game as Max Fried and Hyunjin Ryu having a pitching duel. So far, it is scoreless, heading to the bottom of the fourth inning. Let's send it back to Atlanta in the Crown Rust Protection broadcast booth.
Blue Jays fans, make sure you don't miss out on any of the exciting moments to come with 2022 season tickets. This is your chance to get the best seats at the best price available with a flexible payment plan. For more details, visit bluejays.com/2022 season tickets. Good number of Jays fans down in Atlanta going to the bottom of the fourth. Both Max Fried and Hyunjin Ryu very sharp so far. A scoreless game. The Blue Jays have one hit. The Braves have two. One of them belonging to the guy at the plate right now, Marcell Ozuna. Swings over the top of a curveball, 0-1.
Yeah, he had a changeup on an 0-2 pitch his last time up. He singled to center field. And so Ryu, he will never fall into too many patterns. And he starts him off with a big slow hook.
The 0-1, and he hit it off the end of the bat to shallow center field, and an easy play for Grichuk, one down.
Well, you see how Jansen offers pitches, and he went right back to the curveball, and he offered the fastball, and Ryu, he just got this good game plan. And, you know, we've talked about this before, Dan. Hyunjin Ryu does his own scouting report. He will look at video, he'll put a scouting report together the night before he pitches, and then he'll send it to Danny Jansen. So Danny will have a chance to go over it, and then they will have a meeting. They will convene in the clubhouse with the pitching coaches. Jansen and Ryu will go over it once again. But he knows what he wants to do when he takes them out against a particular team, because he really dissects the opposing lineup and thinks about his pitches and what they will do to the Braves lineup tonight. But he's well prepared.
It's amazing how different pitchers look at that aspect of the game in terms of calling your own game or just leaving it up to the catcher. Zach Greinke's another guy like Hyunjin Ryu, basically calls his own game, does a ton of preparation. Then you got a guy like Mark Burley who never shook off a catcher in his life. Whatever sign went down, he just threw the pitch. There's the 0-1 to Albies, and it's a little high, a ball and a strike.
You see Danny looking at that scouting report on his wristband. He's probably got 3 or 4 pages of information with Ryu. Page number 1, go to page 6, line 4. Check it out.
Well, it probably took Jansen a while to get comfortable, and Danny wants to get the right sign down as quickly as he can so Ryu can stay in a rhythm. Took him a while to get to that pitch right there. The curveball was what Ryu wanted, eventually got there, and it's fouled off 1-2. And you tell me, Buck, as a catcher, do you feel, especially a younger catcher with a veteran pitcher, do you feel pressure to get the right sign down quickly?
Absolutely you do. And you can see he looks at his scouting report once again, and he wants to make sure he hits the right pitch on this first offering.
Ryu just
yeah, as a young catcher, you really want to make sure that you don't throw him out of whack. He's off to such a good start. You want to keep this rhythm going because so much of pitching is all about rhythm and timing and your release point. And Danny wants to make sure he doesn't cause any long delays for Ryu.
2-2 and a changeup misses down and away, a full count. Albies bounced into a fielder's choice his first time up as Austin Riley waits on deck here in the 4th inning for Atlanta. (3-2) and a fastball line to right field, and that'll get down for a base hit in front of Teoscar Hernandez.
Yeah, again, Danny Jansen had offered 3 or 4 different pitches before Ryu saw the one he wanted. He wanted that fastball, but he kind of wanted it away. You can see where Jansen is set up, and he has to go back to the inside part of the plate, and that allows Albies to fight it off. And he flares it in front of Teoscar in right field.
And that's another great point. Ryu will throw 4 pitches: fastball, cutter, changeup, curveball. But for the fastball, Jansen could signal for it inside or outside. For the cutter, inside or outside. So sometimes it might take Danny 5 or 6 signs to get to the right pitch, because it's not just what pitch it is, it's what location you want as well.
Yeah, and that's why it's such a challenge. Yeah, he wants the right pitch, but he doesn't want it in that location, so you have to go through the cycle again.
Albies with pretty good speed, being held on by Guerrero at first. No score, bottom of the 4th. And right at the knees, called strike 1 to Riley.
You know, we talk about Max Fried and his great pickoff move. He already picked off Teoscar in this game. Hyunjin Ryu is impossible to run against. He's had just 7 stolen bases against him in his career.
Inside, a ball and a strike. That's remarkable. That's like 1 a year.
Well, let me tell you something. He's had 1,177 stolen base opportunities, and there have only been 13 attempts. And he doesn't have a particularly great pickoff move, but he understands the game so well. He changes his release time. He works quick on one pitch. He'll hold it on the next one. He really messes with the base runner's timing at first.
Fouled off down the right side, 1-2. I would think on so many different levels, whether you're his manager, his pitching coach, his catcher, an infielder who plays behind him, I would think everybody just loves having this guy on the team.
Yeah, he's a great teammate, first and foremost. And, you know, the 7 years of experience in Korea really served him well, because he was the star there, and he was looked upon as the guy that had to lead his team. So he learned every aspect of the game. I mean, you see that move, there's nothing to that move, but it's all about he never allows a good base runner like Albies an opportunity to say, okay, I got him. Now I feel good. I can get a jump off him. He never gets to that point.
Staring him down, and now the 1-2 change up down and away, 2-2 to Austin Riley.
Another thing that's really effective is that slide step he just used right there. But when you think about it, with a slide step, you're thinking about a running opportunity, but he throws a slide step changeup, which really throws the hitter off.
Outstanding strike to ball ratio tonight for Ryu, and now a slow chopper toward third. Biggio's only play to first, and a good throw to get Riley by a step. Albies to second, 2 down.
Yeah, and we mentioned both Gavin and Bo on the left side of the infield have really tightened up their defense lately, and the Blue Jays defensively overall have played very clean defense lately. Strong throw in time, and that's the only play he had. He had no chance to get the lead runner at second.
So runner in scoring position with 2 down for Dansby Swanson, who was called out on strikes his first time up. Ryu with 5 strikeouts and no walks through 3 2/3. And a curveball fouled off, 0-1. He's thrown a fair number of curveballs tonight, Buck, and he is throwing it very effectively.
Yeah, and he's just so patient, you know. I mean, he will throw it and just has such a great feel for it. It's not like he's trying to throw the best breaking ball of the night, but he understands what it takes to get a swing on that particular pitch. He's done a good job with that pitch.
And how about this? He's faced 15 batters, and he has thrown a first pitch strike to 14 of them. The 0-1, a swing and a ground ball to short. Bichette's got it. On to first in time, and it's another good inning for Hyunjin Ryu. No score at the end of 4.
And here comes the big bopper, Jack Links. Not the fastest runner, but boy, can he crush it. Try Jack Links jumbo bags of beef jerky. Jack Links. Feed your wild side.
Mazda of Toronto is Ontario's #1 Mazda volume dealer 7 years in a row. And with the Mazda 3 voted AJAC Best Midsize Car in Canada 2 years in a row, that's truly a winning combination. Drive a new Mazda 3 during the Discover the Drive event and enjoy 0% purchase financing, plus up to a $1,000 Mazda bonus. Book an appointment today.
I'm George Epitropoulos from Mazda of Toronto. Come in and find out why we're #1. We're on Yonge to south of Steeles. See MazdaToronto.com.
And for those of you at home, kicking back, relaxing with a big bowl of kale chips. What game are you listening to? Jack Link's Beef Jerky. Feed your wild side.
Welcome back to Blue Jays Baseball, powered by Jack Links. I'm Rob Wong. Blue Jays and Braves still scoreless as they are through 4 innings of play. Hyunjin Ryu has given up 3 hits, while Max Fried, the Braves starter, has allowed just 1 base hit so far to the Blue Jays. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, powered by Jack Links, as they are scoreless heading to the top of the 5th inning at Truist Park in Atlanta. Hernandez, Grichuk, and Gurriel Jr. due up for the Blue Jays. Now back to Dan and Buck in the Crown Rest Protection broadcast booth.
What are you waiting for? The Jays Care 50-50 jackpot is climbing over $2,000 right now, and it could be yours tomorrow night. Don't wait. Sales close tomorrow at 10 p.m. The winning ticket will be sold at bluejays.com/5050. Hyunjin Ryu and Max Fried are both getting the job done. Lots of zeros up there right now, and not only have both of them been good, Buck, both of them have been very efficient as well. Just 44 pitches through 4 for Fried.
Yeah, and you know what? People talk about, well, I want to see home runs. To me, this is a beautiful game. Both pitchers getting all their pitches into the zone. And, you know, Brian Snitker talked about Fried out of his last start, saying the last few innings against the Nationals back on the 5th is when Max Fried looked like Max Fried from a year ago.
Teoscar Hernandez will lead off the 5th for the Blue Jays. Hernandez, Grichuk, and Gurriel. No runs, 1 hit for the Blue Jays. No runs, 3 hits for the Braves. Teoscar walked his first time up and then was thrown out trying to steal. The 1-0. And a good curveball there for a strike. 1-1.
Yeah, I think Fried's got much better confidence in his breaking ball tonight than he has in his previous starts this season. He's been very good with both his curveball and his slider.
Fastball chopped foul by Hernandez. 1-2. Teoscar looking comfortable since he came back off the IL. Missed about 3 weeks after testing positive for COVID. Took a few days after he recovered to get his strength and his timing back up there, but he has settled nicely into the cleanup spot, providing a little bit of protection for Vladimir Guerrero. 1-2, and it's popped back foul out of play.
Yeah, there's that good slider right in on the hands of Teoscar. He tied him up pretty good with that fastball. Yeah, I mean, the slider that he ran inside, and we mentioned he's had a good slider and a good curveball tonight.
1-2 on the way, and Hernandez hits a ground ball to first. Hit it right at Freddie Freeman. 3 unassisted, 1 down.
Center fielder number 15, Randall Grichuk.
Dan Shulman to Buck Martinez, Hazel May, the Blue Jays and the Braves. And don't forget, it's a day game tomorrow. And it's an early start. First pitch, even by day game standards, first pitch is at 12:20 Eastern time. And the final game of the series, final game of the road trip for the Blue Jays as well. Ross Stripling will be on the mound for the Blue Jays, and Charlie Morton gets the ball for the Braves.
Yeah, the Blue Jays, of course, will head home after that game. And it's been a long road trip, and they'll be anxious to get home. They have the 3-team homestand in their final homestand in Dunedin. Boy, where was that pitch?
Well, it was in the strike zone, I can tell you that. Yeah. I mean, it didn't get called to strike, but it was in the strike zone. So Grichuk and the Blue Jays catch a break. Reed shaking off his catcher Contreras a few times. And a swing and a miss tied him up 2-1.
Yeah, that's another one of those sliders. And he just cuts it inside, and he did the same thing to Teoscar in the previous at bat, and he runs it right in on the hands of these right-handed hitters. He's been good. 9 in a row set down.
Down and in, and especially with the Soroka news today, the Braves need Fried to be good. They need a guy, to help them at the top of the rotation. That's what he was last year. Starting pitching may be an issue for them, just like the Blue Jays have their concerns with starting pitching. So many teams have concerns with starting pitching, and can you round out a rotation and find a 4 and a 5 to give you a chance to hang in and compete? 3-1, and Grichuk lines the ball right center field, but caught by Acuna. 2 down.
Yeah, the outfield defense for Fried is terrific with Pache in center and Acuna in right. Ozuna, he's a bat. He's in left field, and we've talked about the fact he doesn't have a very good arm, but boy, oh boy, those guys in center and right, they can go get it.
So 2 down. Here's Lourdes Gurriel Jr. hit a fly ball to left field back in the second inning. Takes a strike. Buck, what are you seeing in Gurriel that's different than last year when he had such a good year with the bat?
I think he's just anxious. I think he's going out to get the ball instead of letting it come to him, and that's when he was so good last year. There's so much movement, and I think when you have that forward movement, naturally it's going to move your head, and when that happens it moves your eyes, and then the ball starts jumping around. But he was such a great breaking ball hitter last year, and that's because he let the ball travel. And I think he will get it back again, but I think he's just got to calm down a little bit and just let the ball come to you. You can't go searching hits.
Swing and a miss, 1-2. There were stretches, and it was a short season last year, but there were stretches here and there where he might have been the best hitter the Blue Jays had at times. I mean, he was that hot at times and wound up with some really good numbers over the course of the 60-game season.
Yeah, and you know what? I mean, everybody kind of thinks he'll get there again, but it's been a difficult start to his season. But I just think that he's not really where he wants to be with his timing just yet.
You know, if you combine his 2019 and 20 numbers, played in 141 games, so, full season's 162, 33 doubles, 31 homers, 83 RBIs, an OPS of about 873. Like, that's over a big sample size. 141 games over 2 years. He's done it before. 2-2 chop foul.
Yeah, and he'll do it again, and it's just a matter of getting things going. He's 27 years old, but he had a slow start to his career. Didn't get to the big leagues till he was 24. But when you look at those 2 seasons, as you mentioned, I mean, those are good numbers. And 567, that's a full season basically, 567 plate appearances, but 289 average with some damage.
Stays alive by pulling one foul up the third baseline.
His brother Yuli, I spoke to him at World Series a couple of years ago, and I asked him about Lourdes. I said, is he going to be as good a hitter as you? And Yuli said, he's going to be a better hitter than me. And, Yuli's still hitting when he's 37 now, and he's still hitting around 300 with some major damage.
Another 2-2 pitch on the way to Gurriel. Got jammed and hits a ground ball to third. Charging Riley. And he'll make the play to get a Gurriel as the Blue Jays go in order again.
Hi, I'm a high-pressure weather system.
And I'm low pressure.
Opposites attract.
You're so cool.
You are so hot.
Let's make precipitation.
Yeah, but everyone hates it when we get together.
Except Subarus. They love spring showers.
Right, because they have symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive.
Sure, we make it rain, but that's how rainbows are made.
Enjoy Subaru's all-weather drive event with great rates on 2021 Subaru Foresters. Go online to build and price yours and adventure on in all weather.
What do guests think of Tim's new vanilla cream cold brew coffee?
It's like smooth. That's the vibe.
Velvety smooth.
Tim's new cold brew coffee. Enjoy trying it. Enjoy describing it. It's time for Tim's at participating restaurants in Canada.
Baseball's back. Why not gather around your home base with Miller Lite's MLB Team Cans? 90 calories and 3 grams of carbs in every 355 milliliters. Available at select retailers for limited time. Must be legal drinking age. MLB trademarks used with permission.
Still no score here in the home half of the 5th inning. Hyun-Jin Ryu, as we know, a lefty on the mound, but he does everything else right-handed. He writes, holds a ping pong paddle, uses chopsticks with his right hand, and as Dan mentioned, bats from the right side of the plate. Now, Ryu was asked in an LA Times article why he pitches left-handed. Ryu said when he was 10 years old, his father accidentally bought him a left-handed glove. He always thought that was the reason, but in a recent Korean TV show appearance, Ryu corrected that story. He said his father claimed that for whatever reason, as a boy, Ryu just picked up a baseball with his left hand and threw it naturally. So when he was old enough, he bought his son a left-handed glove. So to this day, Dan, why Ryu is a southpaw is still one of baseball's great mysteries.
Well, as you know, Hazel, most of the world's mysteries are about southpaws because lefties are a different breed. But for whatever reason, there are a fair number of major league pitchers, lefties, who write with their right hand, do everything with their right hand. Buck, I think our mutual friend Dan Plesac is one of those. I think he's a righty.
Yeah, I believe he is, and I even think he plays golf right-handed. Now that I think about it.
Bottom 5, no score. Obviously, it is working for Ryu, as unconventional as it might be, and he's got his stuff working for him tonight. 4 scoreless, 3 hits, no walks, 5 strikeouts. Bottom third of the order here. And let's see if he can make quick work of the 2 young players, Contreras and Pache, and then the pitcher Free. This is where you'd love to have a very quick 3 up, 3 down. Don't let Acuna come up with a man on base, and keep that pitch count nice and low. The 1-1 to Contreras, and a fly ball hit to deep left field. He got it all. William Contreras with his 2nd home run of the season. He didn't get fooled that time, and the Braves take a 1-0 lead.
Well, we talked about how the ball wasn't carrying. That ball wasn't going to be affected by any cool night, that's for sure. He smoked that ball, and he comes with the reputation of being an offensive catcher, a guy that can really swing the bat, and well, he proved it right there. His 2nd home run, it's the first run of this ball game, and now he has driven in 5. And remember, this is just his 8th start of the season. He has been thrust into action with the Braves losing 2 of their frontline catchers. They've called him up, and he's done a decent job since he's come up.
Now Christian Apache, who struck out his first time up. And first pitch swinging, a bouncer to third, in on the grass. Biggio with an easy play, 1 down.
Yeah, Contreras, of course, and we talked about his brother Wilson. A great catcher with some power as well, and this is a pretty swing, and he hit that ball. It looked like it was a fastball down out over the plate, and he hit it deep into the seats in left field.
And teammates loving it as he heads back to the dugout. 1-0 Braves, bottom 5. 2nd at bat for Max Fried. Fried had a base hit his first time up. We mentioned he can swing the bat pretty well. Now 3 for 7 this season and up in the 180s in his career. He's not a big strong dude. He's a skinny guy, but got big power in the arm, and he can swing the bat a little bit. Takes another strike. It's 0-2.
It's so important as a pitcher and an athlete to be able to handle the bat yourself, and especially in bunting situations. He has 7 career sacrifice bunts, and it'll just keep you in the ball game longer when they don't have to pinch hit for you.
Think this is the last year of pitchers hitting when they do the new CBA? You think it's DH both ways going forward?
Yes, and I was disappointed they didn't go to the universal DH this year. I just didn't think it was the right thing at all.
Just for the health and safety of the pitcher?
Exactly. I mean, who really wants to see a pitcher hit? And yeah, it's cool when you see Mad Bum hit a home run once in a while, and who can forget Bartolo Colon hitting a home run? But I think the game has moved past that now. And, I'm old school as anybody, but it's time for a universal DH.
Fried with a fly ball to left field, but running over to his left is Gurriel to make the play. Another more good contact there by Fried, but that's out number 2.
Yeah, he just gives himself a chance, puts the bat on the ball, and, he'll take the out. Now, Acuna will come up with nobody on and 2 outs. And he's already 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a fly ball to center.
Atlanta striking with the home run here in the bottom of the 5th by William Contreras. So they lead Ryu and the Blue Jays 1-0. The Blue Jays winning 5-3 last night. This is the 5th time the Blue Jays have gone into a game trying to get to 3 games over 500 for the first time this season. Acuna with a foul off. So 4 other times the Blue Jays have been 2 games over 500 and then have lost that game. See if they can get to 3 over tonight. And again, considering all of the injuries, and boy did Charlie Montoyo give a lengthy update of what's going on with a lot of the injured players. And all the road games they've played. They've had a challenging schedule. Haven't seen the Orioles at all yet. They'll see them a bunch starting in the middle of June. All things considered, to be 2 games over 500, given everything that's gone on for this team, I think they got to be pretty pleased with the position they're in right now.
I agree 100%. I think they've done a great job as a team picking one another up and overcoming those injuries. Everybody's dealing with injuries, but the Blue Jays, I think, have handled it as well as anybody.
Really quickly, Charlie said Rafael Dolis, they hope he throws a bullpen by Friday. George Springer hit in the cage today because the weather wasn't great. He'll do some running outside tomorrow. Thomas Hatch will throw 2 to 3 innings at the Player Development Complex in Dunedin tomorrow as he tries to work his way back. 0-2, and Ryu doesn't get the call. He was 3 steps to the dugout, but it's called low, ball 1.
Yeah, and this is unfortunate because it is a strike right at the bottom of the zone, and you certainly don't want to have to throw another pitch to Acuna. He set him up perfectly, and Acuna was unable to swing at that pitch. Looked like strike 3.
Now bounces in a curveball. Some of the other injury updates, they're hoping Anthony Castro throws a bullpen by the weekend. Joe Panik hit in the cage today, apparently. They're still waiting on the MRI result for David Phelps and his strained lat. And here's a name we haven't heard in a while, Buck. Patrick Murphy threw a bullpen session yesterday and will throw another one soon. He hasn't pitched at all this year. He came down with an injury back before spring training. Pitch outside in a full count.
Yeah, Murphy was impressive in limited appearances last year at the end of the season, and he's got a big fastball and a wicked curveball. But he's working his way back slowly. Thomas Hatch is the interesting guy for me. He's coming back as a starter. And boy, the Blue Jays could certainly use him back in the rotation.
Yeah, he's about, I believe, 4 weeks away from being eligible because he's on the 60-day IL. But Ross Atkins said maybe about a week ago they intend to have him like locked and loaded and ready to go when the 60 days are up, as Ryu ends up walking Acuna. So didn't get the call on the 0-2 pitch and eventually walks him. The first walk tonight by Ryu.
Yeah, he had him struck out. And he threw that fastball right at the bottom of the zone, and then Acuna gets on base. And now, of course, Acuna is a threat to steal. He's got 6 stolen bases, been caught just once. But we have talked about how difficult it is to get a jump off Ryu.
Freddie Freeman's 0 for 2, a pop-up and a strikeout.
He's been swinging early. He swung at both first pitches in his 2 previous plate appearances.
Takes a pitch right over the outside corner, 0-1.
Do you think Freeman has his contract situation on his mind?
I would like to think not, but it's human nature. I would think that it's possible that he does. You know, Carlos Correa could be in the same boat. And you know, Freeman, as we talked about last night, he feels like one of these guys who should spend his whole career in one uniform. But sure, I would imagine it is.
Yeah, you know, his home is Atlanta. He's got kids born in Atlanta. He's a long time. He's a fixture in the franchise, and you know, he'd probably like to have that done and not head into free agency. Interesting. Everybody handles it differently, that's for sure.
The 0-2 and a swing and a miss. Ryu strikes him out again, but Atlanta takes the lead on the home run by William Contreras. 1-0 Braves at the end of 5.
The sounds of spring, the crack of the bat,
And it's out of here!
the roar of the crowd, and the beautiful chorus of birdsong in your backyard. I'm Ben Wagner, and if you want to enjoy the sounds of spring in your backyard, just serve up Armstrong Bird Food. Armstrong has the seed blends you need to attract a wide variety of birds. Now that's a spring soundtrack we can all enjoy. Armstrong Bird Food, feeding Blue Jays and other feathered friends since 1986.
Dear Ontario, thanks for meeting hardship with compassion. Thanks for remembering the greater good. Thanks for supporting local, like the 2021 Civic LX, proudly built in Ontario and loaded with standard features like Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Lease one for 60 months today from just $62 weekly at 0.99% and 0 down, including the $750 Honda bonus. Stay strong, Ontario. Your friends at Honda. Taxes extra made with domestic and imported parts. By appointment only. See HondaOntario.com.
Stay up to date on your Blue Jays by becoming a Blue Jays Insider. Blue Jays Insiders get the latest news, promotions, and offers delivered right to their inbox. Visit BlueJays.com/newsletter to sign up today. And not just current Blue Jays, future Blue Jays. Let's talk about one. Alek Manoah is up to his old tricks at AAA again. He's not out of the game yet, but why not tell you what he's doing so far? 5 innings, no hits, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts, only 57 pitches, 38 of them strikes in his second start at the AAA level. Buck, he's going to make the fan base crazy if he keeps doing this kind of stuff.
You know, he's been impressive, and you know, he was impressive in his pitching. He was impressive the way he handled himself in spring training. And you know, there's a couple big leaguers down in that lineup in Rochester. Gerardo Parra is the DH tonight. Of course, he's the Nationals' big magic swing bat a couple years ago, and Yasmani Tomas is playing third base. So there's a couple big leaguers in that lineup against Manoah tonight, and he has no-hit them through 5 innings.
Kevin Biggio leading off the 6th and takes a strike, 1-0 Atlanta. So when Manoah's first start, it was 6 innings, 2 hits, 3 hit batters, no runs, 12 strikeouts. Now it's 5 innings, no hits. So he's gone 11 scoreless innings, allowing just 2 hits with 16 strikeouts in his first 2 starts at AAA for the former first-round pick out of West Virginia. 1-2 the count on Biggio.
You know, Dan, and that's what a first-round pick looks like. Big, strong, strapping guy, commands the presence on the mound, came into spring training, was not in awe of anything, and had a very good spring, handled himself in a very professional manner, and he looks like he might be a keeper.
Yeah, and Ross Atkins in a Zoom call again about 10 days ago said he thinks that Manoah is going to push the timeline, like he's going to accelerate the plan, and he is certainly trying to do that with the way that he's pitched in his first 2 starts for Buffalo. 2-2 to Biggio, and he takes outside. They appeal, but he didn't go. Full count.
Obviously, he's pitching against AAA hitters, and in spring training, he had that great game against the Yankees, and, it was early. The Yankees' timing was off, but he throws strikes, and that's the key. He throws a lot of strikes.
Biggio aboard. A leadoff walk here in the 6th inning. The Blue Jays down 1-0, but they got a base runner. Meanwhile, at Double-A, here's another name that maybe Blue Jay fans haven't heard that much of lately. Elvis Luciano started at Double-A New Hampshire tonight. 5 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. And Gabriel Moreno is currently 3 for 3 and is hitting .500 on the season. The young catcher who has really made a name for himself over the last couple of years. Danny Jansen.
Moreno's from Venezuela, and he had some opportunities during spring training. He's just 21 years old, and he's 5'11", listed at 160, and he's got a little pop in his bat. He's hitting cleanup down there in Double-A.
Fastball inside corner, recalled strike to Jansen. Remember, Hyunjin Ryu is on deck. Blue Jays down 1-0. Got a man on here in the 6th inning. Jansen with a fly ball to right field his first time up. (0-1) and popped up and back out of play. Quickly 0-2.
The Blue Jays were down 2-0 in the game last night, and Vladdy Guerrero hit the 2-run home run in the 6th to tie it up. It was their 8th comeback win of the season, so this team has a lot of confidence. And another thing that gives them a lot of confidence is the depth of their bullpen. Despite all of the injuries, their bullpen has really pitched well to a man, and they think that they can come back and win games late.
Ooh, close, but no. Again, a curveball. That's the second one that looked like it might have had the top part of the zone, but it's called high by Andy Fletcher.
Yeah, man, and that's a strike for me. I'm sorry, it's top of the zone, and it's difficult when pitchers don't get that pitch. When you have basically 3 pitches and they're not calling your curveball.
1-2, jams Jansen, and again fouled back out of play.
We have seen multiple swings like that one from the Blue Jays lineup tonight against Fried in that slider. He did it to Teoscar, he did it to Grichuk, and now he really ties up Danny Jansen. He's been able to really shoot that slider in on their hands.
A look at Biggio and the 1-2, and that fastball's just high. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, Fletcher has been consistent not calling that high pitch, whether it's a fastball or a curveball. This one looks like it catches the top of the zone. But at least he's consistently laid off of that pitch, not giving the pitcher that high strike.
2-2 now. Inside, 3-2. Nice job by Jansen, and he might have caught a break on one pitch earlier in this at bat, but he's fouled off a couple of pitches, and he's making Fried work hard again with Ryu waiting in the on-deck circle. (3-2) swing and a miss. Got him with a curveball. 1 down.
Well, he dropped that curveball in on a full count, confident he had the ability to throw the curveball with the pitcher coming up next. He probably thought, okay, well, if I miss with this curveball, I got the pitcher, and he didn't miss with that one. He really took his time and delivered a very effective hook to Danny Jansen.
So now Ryu up for the second time. Struck out his first time up. Got a man on here. And no sign of a bunt as he swings and fouls it off, and he gets Contreras, the catcher, on that foul ball.
This is another result of that one knee catching stance, as you're really exposing yourself in many different areas. That looked like it hit him on the knee and then got him in the ribs. Hit him about 3 times before he goes down. And that right leg is really exposed when you put it on the ground. The inside of that right leg is really in harm's way a lot.
If there was nobody out, automatically Ryu would be bunting here. You surprised he's not bunting with one out?
Yes, I am. I thought he'd be bunting for sure with Simeon up next and then Bo Bichette, just to stay out of a potential double play. I thought he would be bunting.
Which is something he can do. 32 sacrifices in his career. Swing and a miss, 1-2.
Yeah, he struck out on that same pitch, the slider, his first time up back in the third.
So Charlie letting him or wanting him to swing away in this situation with 1 on, 1 out. And the 1-2. Lays off a curveball in the dirt. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And we mentioned how tough Fried is to run on, and Cavan hasn't run much this season simply because he hasn't gotten on base as much as he has in the past. But it's really not a running situation with pitcher hitting. You get a strike him out, throw him out situation and end the inning.
There he goes, though. Swing and a miss, and no throw from Contreras, and Biggio will steal second.
Boy, he got a great jump, and I think Fried was just kind of thinking, oh, he won't run here with the pitcher hitting, but sure enough, he got the strikeout. But Cavan gets such a great jump, there's no opportunity for a throw from the catcher. So Cavan has his first stolen base of the season.
So a runner in scoring position with 2 down, and let's see if Marcus Semien can come up with a big 2-out base hit to tie this game. Semien is 0 for 2 so far, working on a 10-game hitting streak coming into this one. And Fried gets a call on a fastball, a little bit up and in. It's 0-1.
Yeah, you would think Semien will be looking inside in this situation because Fried has used that slider so effectively to the right-handed hitters. And that fastball might have gone in Fried's favor, the first pitch.
Wow, and he might have gotten another one. And Semien now is going to turn and have a little conversation with Andy Fletcher. Thought that ball was inside, but Fried's out in front 0-2. Well, for a variety of reasons, you got to expand your strike zone right now if you're Marcus Semien, and just try to put something in play and come up with a base hit one way or another. Oh, 2. Just high. Boy, I think if he'd called that one a strike, we might have seen the limits of Semien's patience.
I agree with you there. That one was out of the strike zone, but Contreras acted as if he thought it should be called a strike. I mean, it's been a little inconsistent strike zone last couple innings.
Biggio at second, 2 down. 1-2 pitch and a curveball hit hard to left field, and that's going to get to the fence. Biggio will come in to score easily, and Semien is on his way to second base with an RBI double that has tied the game.
Well, Marcus hasn't really hit that well against breaking balls all season long, but boy, he got a nice curveball to hit right there. And remember the curveball earlier in the at-bat that looked like he was just a bit out of the zone, and this one stays right over the heart of the plate, and he hammers it. 74-mile-an-hour hook is not a good finish pitch with 2 strikes, and Semien pulls it down the line. That extends his hit streak to 11 in a row, but more importantly, it ties the game at 1-1.
An 11-game hitting streak now for Semien that ties Bo Bichette for the longest hitting streak by a Blue Jay this year. And it is 1-1 here in the 6th inning as Bichette comes up. Bo's 1 for 2. Had a base hit in the 1st inning, grounded out in the 4th.
Marcus has also extended his games reaching base to 19 straight.
Fastball over the inside corner, 0-1 to Bichette.
Yeah, Fried is really focused on the inner half of the plate to these right-handed hitters. And he just made a mistake to Semien. He left that curveball over the heart of the plate.
Inside. Went with that slider again, but too far in for Bo to chase. A ball and a strike.
Well, an improbable run for sure against a guy that has a tough pickoff move, and Cavan guessed perfectly to steal the base and get in scoring position for Semien.
Fried will back off the rubber for a moment and check his scouting report in his hat. He's asking the catcher, Contreras, which sequence of signs are we going with? He put 4 fingers up. Are we using this system or that system? Runner at second. They want to make sure they're on the same page. The 1-1. Inside again, ball 2.
Good job by Bo. He's so anxious to drive in this run, but you can't chase those pitches inside. We've seen several times tonight where Fried has jammed the right-handed hitters either with that fastball or that good slider.
And a little inside again. Again, Bichette showing some patience, and he's worked the count in his favor to the tune of 3-1 as right-hander Luke Jackson has now started throwing in the Braves bullpen. So if you're Bichette, are you picking just one small part of the strike zone where if you like it, you swing?
Absolutely.
And he'll take a walk. So 4 pitches in a row inside to Bichette. And that's going to bring Guerrero to the plate with a couple of men on.
Boy, what a good at-bat by Bo Bichette. That'll bring the pitching coach Rick Kranitz out of the Braves dugout. And he's given his bullpen a little bit more time to get loose. Luke Jackson is the right-hander, as we mentioned. But Kranitz now talking about Vladdy Guerrero. And Vladdy so far 0 for 2. Went after the first pitch and grounded out the third in the first inning and lined out to left field. So Guerrero had the big home run in the 6th inning in last night's game, and now he's got a chance to give the Blue Jays the lead in this 1-1 ball game.
What do you think he's thinking coming up to the plate? Do you think he's guessing one pitch on the first pitch and trying to ambush Fried a little bit? What do you think is going through his mind right now?
In the 8th inning, when he had that RBI single, he went up there thinking about being aggressive, saying, okay, he's going to come after me. I don't think he's going to do that in this at-bat. I think he will try to figure out where Fried's going. He might even give him a pitch and say, okay, I want to see what you're thinking in this at-bat. But certainly Kranitz, the pitching coach, out to help Fried decide how to go after Guerrero in this situation.
Vladdy 0 for 2 on the night. Blue Jays trying to take the lead here in the 6th inning. And the first pitch from Fried, a swing and a high fly ball to left, but Vladdy didn't get it. Acuna in left center, or rather Pache in left center will make the catch as Vladdy got under it. And that'll retire the side. But Marcus Semien with a RBI double has made it a tie game.
All right, people, listen up. Search and rescue has a lot of ground to cover, so pay attention. It's minus 40 out here, and our guy has been missing for several hours. He's about 6'2", thin build. Fortunately, he's wearing a force field high visibility vest, so we should... Huh, there he is.
Be seen with Force Field protective clothing. Made for Canadians, engineered for Canada. Visit HiVisSafety.ca. That's HIVIS Safety.ca. And use code RADIO for 10% off your first order.
Dear Ontario, thanks for showing that adversity brings out our better selves, that we makes us stronger than I. Thanks for buying local, like the 2021 CR-V LX, proudly built in Ontario, with great standard features like a remote starter. Lease one for 60 months right now from just $82 weekly at 2.99% and 0 down, including the $750 Honda bonus. Stay proud, Ontario. Your friends at Honda. Taxes extra made with domestic and imported parts. By appointment only. See HondaOntario.com.
Blink. And they're back in the game because as long as they have outs, they have a shot. The Toronto Blue Jays play here on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to Blue Jays Baseball, powered by Jack Links. I'm Rob Wong. Blue Jays tying this one up on a Marcus Semien RBI double. It's 1-1 heading to the bottom of the 6th inning. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, powered by Jack Links. Let's send it back to Dan and Buck in the Crown Rust Protection broadcast booth.
Well, as we mentioned, it's a day game for the Blue Jays and the Braves tomorrow, but if you're looking for some baseball tomorrow night, how about a couple of American League East rivals, the Yankees and the Rays? Tomorrow night at 7 Eastern on Sportsnet 1, Sportsnet Now. The pitching matchup is Jameson Taillon and Rich Hill. Never a dull moment when the Yankees and Rays get together. Got a good one going here. Hyunjin Ryu's been very good. Max Fried has as well. Marcus Semien just tied it up with an RBI double in the top of the 6th, and it's 1-1 going bottom 6. As Marcell Ozuna is going to lead it off against Ryu and take a first pitch strike.
Yeah, the Braves have some reinforcements down in their bullpen tonight that they didn't have last night. They have Sean Newcomb, the left-hander. We saw him in Dunedin when the Braves were there. And Chris Martin, a right-hander, has been added to their bullpen as well. He pitched last night in AAA.
Curveball.
But they need some help. They need some help in their bullpen, and those two guys have pitched well for them in the past. And you know, they're going to get Shane Green back before too long. It'll probably be another week to 10 days before they add him as well.
Yeah, they sent down Bryce Wilson, who made a spot start for them last night. Pitched well over 6 innings, but they just brought him up to give everybody else an extra day. Sent him back down to bring up some reinforcements. 0-2 is just outside. I feel for the guys who, remember it happened to Ryan Tepera one year, like 5-6 times. Get called up, optioned out, called up, optioned out. You can do it as many times as you want in one season, and it just counts as one option. So it's not like it's, you know, impacting the player's tenure with the club. Pitch in the dirt, 2-2. But it's got to be tough on those guys to know you're coming up, and then as soon as you go a couple of innings out of the bullpen or you do a good job in a spot start because they can't use you for a while, you're probably going back down.
Yeah, and it's a product of this generation of pitchers. You know, guys that are specialists, they pitch one inning, then they go back to the minors, and they're replaced with a fresh arm. It's tough, certainly tough on the families, too, if you happen to be married.
Feels like more often than not on any given day, the Blue Jays have made a roster move, most of them on the pitching side, because of injuries or just guys, you know, being worn out. They need a fresh arm, and they have tapped into just about every available arm they have on the 40-man roster already this season.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate that they've had to make so many moves, but the Braves have been in the same situation as well.
3-2 the count on Ozuna. And a ground ball to short. Bichette to his left unloads in a hurry and gets Ozuna by plenty, 1 down. Download the MLB app to get in-game video highlights, live pitch-by-pitch, breaking news, player updates, stat leaderboards, and more for your Toronto Blue Jays. Truist Park, the home of the Braves. Hank Aaron's number 44. Very visible out in center field in Atlanta. Great tribute to Aaron behind the seats behind home plate, to one of the game's all-time greats. Ozzie Albies the batter, and he takes up and away, ball 1.
Yeah, 44. The number 44 is iconic. Obviously, when you say 44, you always think of the Hammer, Hank Aaron. And I think even Reggie Jackson acknowledged Hank Aaron when he decided to wear 44 once he got to the Yankees, because he was 9 in Oakland.
Albies with a ground ball to short. Bichette playing in the hole, and he makes another play. Quickly 2 down, bottom 6.
Dan, we have talked about how well the infield has played recently, especially the left side of the infield. And this goes back to a drill that Charlie Montoya utilized with Bo Bichette prior to games down in Dunedin. They used a stopwatch, and they would holler out 4-1. That's a fast runner, and Bo would have to adjust and make the play very quickly for that runner. And then they would talk about a little slower guy, and he'd have a little more time. But since then, Bo has really played well in the field. Charlie has used that drill in the minor leagues with the Tampa Bay Rays, and he just sensed that Bo's timing was off a little bit early in the season, but boy, Bo's really tightened up his defense lately.
Two down and the base is empty, and the 0-1 to Austin Riley. Lined into left field. That is fair, and it'll get past the short wall into the corner. Riley on his way to second, and he'll put the brakes on rounding the bag as Gurriel gets it back into the infield.
Yeah, Lourdes was going to play that carom. He thought it was going to hit on that little piece of wall that juts out toward the playing surface, and he changed his angle a bit, but it was academic. It wasn't going to change the fact that this was a double. You see that wall coming out. He thought it might hit that wall, and he was ready to come after it, but it went all the way down into the corner. A 2-out double for Riley, his 4th of the season.
So the potential go-ahead run in scoring position with 2 down for Dansby Swanson, who has struck out and grounded out tonight. Ryu about to throw his 80th pitch of the ball game. Changeup comes in low for ball 1.
Boy, this is where the economy of pitches early in the ball game really serves Ryu well, because he's pitching in a tight game here, and the pitch count's in good shape.
The 1-0. Check swing, and it's up high. 2-0 now on Swanson.
One thing that Ryu never does, he never gives in to a hitter. He has been able to strand base runners in this game, and he's just got a great knack for making the right pitch at the right time.
In there with a changeup, 2-1. And no pattern, you can't guess, and so confident with all of his pitches to both righties and lefties.
No, and you just have to make sure that you let him throw it before you commit. Don't think about a pitch that you have on your mind. He's not going to be on the same page with you, that's for sure.
Riley the lead out at second, the 2-1 to Swanson. Little pop up into right field, but it'll be caught by Teoscar Hernandez. And Ryu gets out of it. End of 6, tied at 1.
Mazda of Toronto is Ontario's #1 Mazda volume dealer 7 years in a row. Want to know why they're #1? How about 0% purchase financing and up to a $1,000 Mazda bonus on select new models during the Discover the Drive event? Plus, an unlimited mileage warranty standard on all new models. Book an appointment for your #1 deal today.
I'm George Epitropo from Mazda of Toronto. Come in and find out why we're #1. We're on Yonge to south of Steeles. See MazdaToronto.com.
I'm Zach Hyman. Every time I get on the ice, my job is to give 100%. So when my family had an accident, we chose Sokoloff Lawyers to protect, defend, and fight for our rights. We made the right choice.
Thanks, Zach. I'm Wendy Sokoloff of Sokoloff Lawyers. If your insurance company has denied your long-term disability claim, call us at Sokoloff Lawyers.
Trust the team at Sokoloff Lawyers to work as hard for you as I do on the ice.
416-966-HURT or visit areyouhurt.ca.
Put it off, call Sokoloff.
Welcome back to Blue Jays Baseball, powered by Jack Links. I'm Rob Wong. Time to check in on the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Right now in the top of the 6th, it's the Athletics with the 4-1 lead on the Red Sox in Boston, while the Yankees have a 1-0 advantage on the Rays in the bottom of the 7th in Tampa. Earlier, the Mets picked up a 7-1 win over the Baltimore Orioles. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, powered by Jack Links. Blue Jays and Braves tied at 1s, heading to the top of the 7th. Let's send it back to the Crown Rest Protection broadcast booth.
Watch 1 game a day, 2 games a night, or 300 games a month. Live stream all the sports you want. Plans starting at $9.99. Visit snnow.ca for details. Well, Max Fried's second start off the IL, still building up the pitch count a bit. So even though he's been a really good buck, 6 innings and 89 pitches is all he will get tonight.
Yeah, he was on the IL with a hamstring injury. This is just his second start since coming off that, and he has built up upon a pretty good start against Washington. He's backed it up with a 2-hit performance over 6 innings, and the only run was a Marcus Semien RBI double in the 6th. Luke Jackson comes out of the bullpen. This will be his 15th appearance, and Jackson has done a pretty good job. He throws a lot of ground balls, and you just have to make sure that that pitch is up in the zone. He is one of those guys. He's on a winning streak now, and certainly at this point in this 1-1 game, he is the pitcher of record as we speak, and he has a 9-game winning streak, longest active win streak in the majors that started back in 2019.
He'll face 4, 5, 6 in the Blue Jay lineup. Hernandez, Grichuk, and Gurriel. 1-1 tied, top 7. And Teoscar swings at the first pitch, sends it to deep right center field. Gone! And just like that, the Blue Jays have taken the lead.
How about Teoscar liking the offering he sees on the first pitch from Luke Jackson? And boy, did he square it up. A couple of long home runs here in this ball game. Contreras for the Braves, and now Teoscar hits his 4th of the season. He had a big 3-hit game last night. He smokes this ball. Deep center field. Pache thought he had a chance to make a play on it, but the ball carries right into the Braves bullpen in deep center field.
Boy, that didn't take long, did it? First pitch thrown by Jackson, winds up over the fence. Big smile for Teoscar. 2-1 Blue Jays in the 7th. Randall Grichuk, the batter. He takes up and away. It's a ball and a strike.
Yeah, and Teoscar, boy, what a presence he is in this lineup. You know, he missed those 16 games because of COVID and came right back, and he's picked it up pretty quickly.
You know, did win a Silver Slugger last year, had a big finish to the 2019 season, and now it's all about what can you do over 162, although, as you said, he missed some time. But, well, you wonder if he stays healthy and if he's in a groove, what kind of numbers he might put up over a full season as Grichuk strikes out.
That's a hard breaking ball, but Jackson had given up just 1 home run prior to that Teoscar home run. But you're right. And, you know, Charlie Montoyo really appreciated what Teoscar did for him last year, and he had no hesitation whatsoever when he was asked, well, how are you going to put Teoscar in the lineup? He goes, he's my cleanup hitter. And I think Teoscar has really responded with the respect that Charlie has given him. And there's a lot of good hitters around him, but Teoscar was the guy that Montoyo felt should hit cleanup on this team.
One down now, Lourdes Gurriel, the batter. As he lays off down and away, a ball and a strike. Gurriel is 0 for 2 tonight. So the Blue Jays have their first lead of the game, and Hyunjin Ryu's coming to back out for the 7th. Nobody up in the pen. As Gurriel stings the ball right center field, but caught on the track by Acuna. 2 down.
Well, that ball carried well on Acuna. He's so graceful out there in right field. He just broke back. He measured it and made a nice play of it. So a couple of hard hit balls by the Blue Jays in this inning. Teoscar recreating that home run swing for Santiago Espinal. No, I hit it just like this and really hit it hard, man.
He's got a captive audience down there. Guerrero in on it. Gurriel might join in now. Here's Kevin Biggio, who takes a pitch in the dirt. Biggio drawing an important walk to lead off the bottom of the 6th, stealing an important base, and then scoring on the Marcus Semien double, the first run of the night for the Blue Jays. Breaking ball for a strike, 1-1.
Yeah, and Kevin hasn't gotten off to the start that he would like, of course, but boy, oh boy, he does some big things, and that was a terrific leadoff walk, and sure enough, it comes around to score. It got the Blue Jays on the board and tied the game up.
Now, Vladdy's saying, yeah, you might have hit a home run, but did you see mine last night? Did you see how far mine went last night? And
that's like a yeah, it's like a comedy cabaret down there in that corner, and everybody's going there, and all those guys are always there, and there's a lot of joking and a lot of ribbon going on down there.
Biggio with a ground ball, backhanded by Freeman, underhand toss to Jackson, and they will get Biggio by a step to retire the side. But as this game moves to the 7th inning stretch, the Blue Jays now have the lead. thanks to Teoscar Hernandez.
Want to protect your home base? Count on a GAF roof. GAF is North America's largest roofing manufacturer and the official shingle of the Toronto Blue Jays. Backed by over 130 years of industry experience, GAF offers an unmatched lineup of high-performing roofing products and systems that feature excellent warranty options for the winning combination of endurance, reliability, and beauty that you'd expect from the leading roofing manufacturer in North America. Count on GAF. Visit gaf.ca to learn more and find a retailer or distributor near you.
Dear Ontario, thanks for showing that adversity brings out our better selves, that we makes us stronger than I. Thanks for buying local, like the 2021 CRV LX, proudly built in Ontario, with great standard features like a remote starter. Lease one for 60 months right now from just $82 weekly at 2.99% and zero down, including the $750 Honda bonus. Stay proud, Ontario. Your friends at Honda. Taxes extra, made with domestic and imported parts. By appointment only. See HondaOntario.com.
Welcome back to Blue Jays Baseball, powered by Jack Links. I'm Rob Wong on the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. The A's lead the Red Sox 4-1 in the sixth, but right now it's the Blue Jays up 2-1 on the Braves, heading to the bottom of the seventh.
Well, the Blue Jays got Hyunjin Ryu before last season to be an ace, and he was that last year. He has been that this year, and he's having another strong performance, Buck, so far in this game tonight.
Boy, he sure has. And, you know, Robbie Ray spoke about this offense last night when he was talking about it. He says, you know what, you keep this team close, they're going to win. And that's what Ray did last night. They came back and won late. Tonight they've done the same thing for Ryu. But you really got to tip your cap to Hyunjin Ryu, the way he was able to pitch out of that situation with the runner in scoring position last half inning. And now the Blue Jays have staked him to a one-run lead. And as we mentioned, you know, this bullpen down for the Blue Jays has done a terrific job. They probably don't have Jordan Romano tonight, but I think everybody else should be available.
Ryu working into the seventh, his 84th pitch of the night, fouled off by William Contreras, the young catcher who homered off Ryu back in the fifth for the only Atlanta run of the night. So it'll be Contreras, Pache, and then a pinch hitter for the Braves here, bottom seven. And Charlie Montoyo would love to get Ryu through seven and leave just 6 outs for the bullpen. The 0-1 in the air to center field, and Grichuk is there to haul it in. One down.
Boy, 7 innings, that's a manager's dream. And, you know, managers used to talk about 21 outs. Give me 21 outs and I'll figure out how to get to rest. Those next 6 outs I can take care of. But when you have to go to your pen in the 4th and 5th and 6th on a consistent basis, it's difficult for a manager to navigate through that much of a workload for his bullpen.
Pache, the center fielder, 0 for 2, shows bunt, and he takes a curveball outside, ball 1. That got the attention of Biggio, who was already in on the cut of the grass. The same for Guerrero at first base.
Pache bunted against the Blue Jays in the series in Dunedin, and that's why Gavin's at the edge of the grass right now, just guarding against that possibility.
Shows bunt again, and he takes another curveball, 2-0. And pinch hitter Ere Adrianza is on deck right now for Atlanta to bat in the pitcher spot. And Tyler Chatwood, who has been so good for the Blue Jays, had a terrific inning last night, worked the 8th inning. He's available again tonight. 2-0 and a fastball right there, 2-1.
Yeah, Chatwood, top of the order. He handled him in 1-2-3 fashion with a couple of strikeouts. He struck out Acuna, got Freddie Freeman unassisted to the first baseman, and then struck out Ozuna. 3 up, 3 down, no problem.
A changeup popped up, shallow center. Simeon backpedaling, and he's there to make the play. Just like that, 2 down.
Marcus made a good read on that because Randall broke back. He saw the big swing from Contreras, who had homered in his previous at bat. He'd hit it off the end of the bat.
So now Adrianza.
Pinch hitter, and Ryu wants to talk to Pete. Ryu called him out. The manager said, hey, there's pinch hitting. I want to talk about this. That was pretty interesting. He saw Adrianza come to the home plate pinch hitting, and Pete Walker often comes out and goes over the scouting report once again, and Ryu wanted confirmation of his thoughts about how you pitched to Adrianza.
right, information exchanged. Everybody's happy. They've got the game plan. And the game plan is to get this guy so you don't have to deal with Acuna here in the 7th inning. Atlanta with Adrianza and with Sandoval getting outstanding production off the bench. Not often do you see a guy through 6 2/3 at 89 pitches, but that's the kind of night that Ryu has had. Misses up and away, ball 1.
Adrianza's a switch hitter, and he's been a pretty productive pinch hitter coming off the bench. And, of course, they've got that secret weapon sitting over there in this one-run game in Pablo Sandoval.
Change-up in there, 1-1.
I guess it's not a secret weapon now. He's got 4 pinch hit home runs already this year.
Ryu due up second next half inning. Blue Jays now leading 2-1. Tied it in the 6th. Took the lead in the 7th on the home run by Teoscar Hernandez. And the 1-1 down and in with a curve, ball 2. Close, but no. Boy, looked like he had the outside corner with the knees, but it's 3 balls and a strike.
Yeah, there have been several close pitches on both sides of the ledger. You see Sean Newcomb, who was just added to this roster, called back up. He was with the Braves when the Blue Jays faced him down in Florida.
And this ball's lined to center, but it's lined right at Randall Grichuk, and it's a 1-2-3 bottom of the 7th. What an outing tonight by Hyunjin Ryu.
Baseball's back. Why not gather around your home base with Miller Lite's MLB Team Cans? 90 calories and 3 grams of carbs in every 355 milliliters. Available at select retailers for limited time. Must be legal drinking age. MLB trademarks used with permission.
What do guests think of Tim's new vanilla cream cold brew coffee?
It's like smooth. That's the vibe.
Velvety smooth. Tim's new cold brew coffee. Enjoy trying it. Enjoy describing it. It's time for Tim's at participating restaurants in Canada.
This is Caleb.
Hi.
Caleb loves to speak in the third person.
Caleb sure does.
Caleb also loves his girlfriend, Jenny.
I'm going to make Jenny my life with an L.
So Caleb connected with a diamond specialist from Spence and created a one-of-a-kind engagement ring. And it's backed by the famous Spence Lifetime Guarantee, just in case.
In case of what? Caleb is feeling verklempt.
Breathe, Caleb. Ready to take the big step? Call or visit SpenceDiamonds.com to book your virtual appointment. See you soon on Zoom. Say yes!
Welcome back to Blue Jays Baseball, powered by Jack Links. I'm Rob Wine. Let's take a look at the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. In Tampa Bay, the Rays trail the Yankees 1-0 in the bottom of the 8th. While in the top of the 7th, it's the Athletics up 4-1 on the Red Sox in Boston. Earlier, the Mets picked up a 7-1 win over the Baltimore Orioles. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, powered by Jack Links. 2-1 Blue Jays in the top of the 8th inning.
Well, let's finish up the story on Alek Manoah, who made his second start in Trenton for AAA Buffalo tonight. And again, 6 scoreless innings, allowed just 1 hit, 2 walks, 17 strikeouts through 12 innings in his first 2 starts. Now, he has hit 4 batters over 2 starts, but only 2 walks, only 3 hits, and Bucky hasn't given up a single run.
No, man, you know what? He's pitching with a lot of confidence, and he gained a lot of confidence in spring training when he pitched so well. So it's going to be interesting to see where he goes next, but I don't think they're going to make any moves anytime soon. Probably another couple of starts for sure.
Sean Newcomb just added to the active roster today, just recalled from the minor leagues for Atlanta. And the lefty into the game to face Danny Jansen, who pops one foul out of play. Newcomb will face 8, 9, and 1, and Hyunjin Ryu due up second. It looks like a pinch hitter is in the on-deck circle for Ryu as Jansen takes a strike 0-2, and it is Santiago Espinal is going to bat for Ryu. So the big lefty is done after 7 great innings tonight.
Second time he's pitched 7 innings, and the previous time he lost to the Texas Rangers when he went 7 innings. But he was good tonight, man.
Yeah, he is the only Blue Jays starter to go 7 innings this year. As you mentioned, he's done it twice. Swing and a miss at a curveball. Jansen strikes out, 1 down.
Yeah, we had mentioned that Newcomb, he got roughed up the last time the Blue Jays saw him. He had just come off the IL and he wasn't sharp yet, but he's got a good assortment of pitches. He throws this curveball to get Danny Jansen. But they need him down in that bullpen to be effective. I know they're overloaded with lefties right now, but we mentioned they got Chris Martin back, a right-hander, and Shane Green is probably 10 days, 2 weeks away from joining them. He too's a right-hander.
So now Espinal getting a chance to swing the bat. Last at bat for him came in Houston. Had a pinch hit at bat. He hasn't started a game in 8 days now. That one is outside and off the glove of the catcher to the backstop. 1-1 on Espinal. Thought he might be in there tonight with a lefty on the mound for the Braves and Ryu on the mound for the Blue Jays. Put him at third base, but Kevin Biggio getting the start. 1-1 down and away, ball 2.
Yeah, I think Charlie understands that Biggio's starting to really play solid defense at third. He wants to keep him in there, and Kevin had a big at bat back in the 6th when he drew that leadoff walk.
In the air to center field, and lots of room out there for Pache. 2 down. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. The Blue Jays 4-0 against Atlanta this season. First time that the Blue Jays have won the season series from the Braves since 2008. As Marcus Semien steps in, they play tonight, wrap it up tomorrow. After tomorrow, no more Toronto-Atlanta. 6 games, that's the most you'll ever play against a team from the other league.
The Blue Jays, how about a 5-1 start in interleague play? They've done a terrific job.
Good breaking ball for a strike, 1-1.
We forgot to mention in the excitement of the Teoscar Hernandez home run, that was the 600th Blue Jay home run in interleague play.
Which is the most of any team in interleague play going back to 1997. Tyler Chatwood worked the 8th last night. Looks like Tyler Chatwood's going to work the 8th tonight. Down and in, 2-2 to Semien.
Boy, Newcomb's thrown a couple of wicked breaking balls well in front of home plate, and he threw a good one to Danny Jansen for the strikeout, but boy, those last couple have bounced well short of the mark.
Two on Blue Jays, top 8. And a pitch outside, a full count now on Semien. Three-two, and he chased. Swing and a miss at a fastball up above the zone. And the Blue Jays go in order in the top of the 8th.
Thanks for coming, everyone. You've heard the news about our signing of free agent Jaybird. Any questions?
How did you manage to swing the deal?
Well, once Jaybird heard that Armstrong Bird Food was on the table, there was no holding them back.
Was there a big signing bonus?
Let's just say we sweetened the deal with the selection of Armstrong Premium Seed Blends.
I'm Ben Wagner, and if you want to make your backyard attractive to all sorts of birds this season, be sure to put Armstrong Bird Food on the table. Armstrong Bird Food, feeding Blue Jays and other feathered friends since 1986.
Baseball's back. Why not gather around your home base with Miller Lite's MLB Team Cans? 90 calories and 3 grams of carbs in every 355 milliliters. Available at select retailers for limited time. Must be legal drinking age. MLB trademarks used with permission.
And for those of you at home, kicking back, relaxing with a big bowl of kale chips. What game are you listening to? Jack Link's Beef Jerky. Feed your wild side.
Welcome back to Blue Jays Baseball, powered by Jack Links. I'm Rob Wong. The refresh for Miller Lite. Baseball's in full swing. Why not enjoy great Pilsner taste from Miller Lite, the official beer sponsor of MLB. 90 calories and 3 grams carbs per 355 milliliters. Must be legal drinking age. Major League Baseball trademarks used with permission. Blue Jays with 2 runs on 3 hits and no errors. The Braves 1 run, 5 hits, no errors as they are headed to the bottom of the 8th inning. Let's send it back to Atlanta.
Hyunjin Ryu absolutely at his best. Command was really good. The only damage done was the home run by William Contreras. And 7 great innings, faced 27 batters, Buck, threw a first pitch strike to 21 of them.
Yeah, and that's been a formula for him throughout his career. 60% first pitch strikes for his career. Tonight he was much better than that. 94 pitches, and he was real economical early in the ballgame. That allowed him to pitch 7 innings for the second time this year. And how about Tyler Chatwood? He was good last night, as we mentioned. Retired the top 3 in order in the 8th inning. And he will inherit that same lineup. Acuna, Freeman, and Ozuna here in the 8th inning in this 2-1 ball game.
And boy, has he earned the trust of Charlie Montoyo in a hurry here in 2021. And Charlie said after the game last night he could have gone Chatwood in the 8th, Romano in the 9th, or the other way around. He will use Chatwood against the top of the order, the middle of the order, as a setup man, as a closer, whatever he feels is best on any given night. And loves that Chatwood's got no problem going out there and pitching on back-to-back nights. Acuna swings at the first pitch, skies it to shallow left. In comes Gurriel, and he makes the play. And how big is that to get that guy on 1 pitch?
Yeah, but last night Tyler struck him out on a slider, and he didn't want to get into a deep count, so he went after that first pitch. But Tyler has done a great job locating his pitches to the glove side, down and away to right-handed hitters, down and in to lefties, and he has really made some pretty positive adjustments. And the biggest adjustment has been that he's pitching from the first base side of that rubber now. He says it's easier for him to get to that inside corner to lefties.
Freddie Freeman, the batter. Been a tough night for Freeman. A pop-up and a couple of strikeouts against Ryu. He's probably glad to see anybody else, even though Chatwood is a tough customer out on the mound. The 1-0. And it's down and away, ball 2.
Mentioned Freeman last night. He grounded out to the first baseman against Chatwood. Second out of that 8th inning last night.
(2-0) and down and away, or down and in rather, ball 3. And you know Freeman's got the green light if he wants it. The reigning National League most valuable player. 1-run game here in the 8th inning. Just can't groove one right down the middle to a guy this good. And it's in there for a strike. 3-1.
Yeah, this is a pretty interesting matchup. Chatwood has faced Freeman a lot, and Freddie has the upper hand in the matchup. He's hit .450 in 20 at-bats with a home run.
And a swing and a foul tip. Now 3-2 on Freddie Freeman as Chatwood battles back.
Freeman's a much better low ball hitter than he is a high ball hitter, and Chatwood works down in the zone, and that's why Freeman has had as much success as he's had.
And he got him. How about Chatwood battling back and getting him swinging? 2 down.
Left fielder number 20, Marcell Ozuna.
Pitching has been the name of the game for the Blue Jays tonight. Hyunjin Ryu for 7. Tyler Chatwood a couple of big outs here in the 8th. And now trying to get Marcell Ozuna, who is 1 for 3 on the night, had a base hit back in the first. First pitch swing and a miss, and a good cutter away, 0-1.
Yeah, that's that glove side command that Chatwood has really zeroed in on. He said in the past when he was working from the third base side of the rubber, he would really have to fight to locate that pitch down and away to the righties. Not the case anymore.
Right on the outside corner with another good cutter. It's 0-2. Right-hander Josh Tomlin and left-hander Will Smith. Smith the closer for the Braves. So Tomlin probably coming in if Atlanta does not tie it here in the bottom of the 8th. Wouldn't chase there. Ball 1.
Boy, it's so encouraging to see Chatwood come right back after working last night. And, you know, nowadays everybody is so protective of their pitchers, but I guarantee you, Chatwood came out, threw the ball around a little bit, went right to Pete Walker, said, I'm good to go tonight. Great news with so many key pitchers down. Dolis and Phelps, those are the guys that would pitch in these situations frequently. They're not available now.
And he got him to chase. What a job again by Chatwood. 3 up and 3 down go the Braves in the bottom of the 8th.
Dear Ontario, thanks for meeting hardship with compassion. Thanks for remembering the greater good. Thanks for supporting local, like the 2021 Civic LX, proudly built in Ontario and loaded with standard features like Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Lease one for 60 months today from just $62 weekly at 0.99% and 0 down, including a $750 Honda bonus. Stay strong, Ontario. Your friends at Honda. Taxes extra made with domestic and imported parts. By appointment only. See HondaOntario.com.
Hi, I'm Hugh Herwin, Chairman of Heathwood Homes. Tradition means a lot to us. Our reputation for quality, service, and customer care are all part of Heathwood's tradition, and that has made us the most successful new home builder. Thousands of people are now proud to be living in a Heathwood home in one of our many outstanding communities, and you can too. Visit heathwood.com to learn all about our fabulous communities. With Heathwood, you'll be home at last.
This year's team has us feeling super competitive, crazy competitive, way more competitive than you. Sorry, told ya. Blue Jays Baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to Blue Jays Baseball, powered by Jack Links. I'm Rob Wong. The 9th inning is brought to you by your Ontario Honda dealers. Blue Jays lead the Braves 2-1 as they head to the top of the 9th inning. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, powered by Jack Links. Let's send it back to Truist Park.
Here we go. The Bruins and the Capitals kick off round 1 of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Tune in Saturday, 6:30 Eastern Time on Sportsnet and CBC. To the top of the 9th inning in Atlanta, the Blue Jays 2, the Braves 1, as the Jays try to make it 2 in a row in this series, 5 in a row over the Braves this season. And they'll try to add a little insurance here in the top of the 9th, Buck, against right-hander Josh Tomlin.
Well, Tomlin was a starter and a good one for a long time. Of course, he had a great run with the Cleveland Indians, but now he's more of a curveball cutter guy. He's going to throw you an off-speed pitches. He's making his 13th appearance of the season. He'll throw you a lot of strikes, 14 strikeouts, just 4 walks for the season. So he will work to Bichette, Guerrero, and Hernandez, 2, 3, and 4 in the Blue Jays order in this one-run game in the 9th.
Bichette tonight has a base hit. He's grounded out, and he's also drawn a walk. And the first pitch of the 9th inning is lined to left field, and that's a base hit. Ozuna over to his right to cut it off, holding Bichette to a single. Bozeman on base 3 times.
Couple of hits, a walk, and he's had a good night, and he's played well in the field also. This looks like one of those cutters that didn't cut, just kind of spun up there and sat on the inner half of the plate, and he smokes it into left field on the first pitch.
And now here's Vladdy, who is 0 for 3. Coming off a 3 for 5 night, including a home run last night. Throw to first. Bichette dives back in.
As Bo had that base running mistake back in the first inning when he rounded first base after a single to right, and Acuna threw him out trying to get back to the bag.
Don't know if he'll be going here as Guerrero takes a strike, but Bo's 6 for 6 stealing as Vladdy just got to look at that 75-mile-an-hour curveball.
Well, and that's the reason you might run, because Tom is going to throw curveballs and cutters, a lot of breaking balls. It takes a while for those to get to the catcher.
A little bit low, 1-1 on Guerrero.
The Braves as a team have not done a great job with the stolen base. They've given up another stolen base tonight and it came around to score. They've only caught 2 of 20 base stealers this season.
1-1. And a swing and a miss. Cutter away, 1-2 on Guerrero. Pulled off that one a little bit, it looked like.
Well, he's been good with runners on base. A .442 average with 4 homers and 22 ribbies. And he's batting with a man at first and nobody out here in the 9th. I think the Blue Jays will take a couple more runs right here, Dan.
1-2, and Guerrero hits it in the air to right field. Acuna's got room and makes the catch, 1 down. Bichette back to first.
Teoscar Hernandez will come up, and the StatCast is presented by Google Cloud. And Teoscar in his last at bat jumped on the first pitch from Luke Jackson and hit a long home run to straightaway center field, 404 feet away from home plate. And Teoscar put the Blue Jays out in front, and that's where they stand right now in this 2-1 ball game. The Braves have actually out-hit the Blue Jays 5-4. The pitchers have been dominant all night long.
Shift on against Hernandez as he looks over a low curveball for ball 1. Second baseman Albies around to the left of second. Bichette being held on at first by Freeman. So wide open on the right side of the infield. And as we often see, they play Teoscar to the opposite field in the outfield. So a big gap in left center and a lot of room down the left field line. They're a little bit worried about Bo maybe trying to steal.
Yeah, he's had plenty of opportunity to get a feel for Tomlin on the mound here.
Out of play, 1-1, and it looks like it will be A.J. Cole to work the 9th inning. Romano down after throwing 28 pitches last night. Chatwood just worked the 8th inning, but he also pitched last night. And Cole, who was on the taxi squad for about 5 weeks, his second appearance with the Blue Jays this year will be in the bottom of the 9th in what is now a 1-run game.
Cole picked up 1 save last year pitching for the Blue Jays. He had a terrific season for the Jays.
Teoscar gets into one, hits it deep left field. It's gone. His second home run of the night, and it is 4-1 Blue Jays.
Well, we talked about a couple extra runs, and Teoscar took it into his own hands, his second home run, and the fan throws it back onto the field. But boy, oh boy, you talk about a big cushion coming here in the 9th. 5th home run, second of the night for Teoscar, and the smiles are all around. And we talk about Teoscar hitting in this cleanup spot. He gets a cutter again and just doesn't cut. Stays on the inside part of the plate. A bad cutter becomes a very hittable fastball, and he smokes this one. 2 long home runs tonight for Teo.
StatCast measuring that home run at 464 feet. And boy, is the dugout happy when Teoscar's got a big smile on his face, and he does right now. His second home run of the night, and it's 4-1 Blue Jays.
Well, there's nothing like a little cushion for Charlie Montoya and the Blue Jays here in the 9th. And remember, they were down in this game 1-0. And now they have a 3-run lead here in the 9th.
Swing and a miss by Randall Grichuk, who's 0 for 3. A ball and 2 strikes on Grichuk. It'll be 4, 5, 6 in the Atlanta order coming up in the bottom of the 9th against A.J. Cole. And what a night for Teoscar.
Well, and that's the lineup of this Blue Jays team. And last night it was Vladdy with a home run, 3 RBIs. Tonight Teo with 2 homers and 3 RBIs. And you just can't focus on one guy. And if you shut one guy down, there's 3 or 4 other guys that can pick you up.
And this is what the organization envisioned with the young nucleus, and then acquiring Springer, who of course hasn't played much yet, and then Simeon as well. Just so many dangerous hitters top to bottom in the lineup. Grichuk with a fly ball to left field. Ozuna coming in, and he's there, 2 down.
Well, Teoscar, that's his 10th career multi-home run game. And, boy, you talk about a timely home run. And how about the job Tyler Chatwood has done in both of these games? Retiring the top 3 in order on back-to-back nights. And he did it in 1-2-3 fashion. Terrific.
And now Gurriel swings at the first pitch, grounds it to short, and Swanson can't come up with it. And Gurriel's aboard.
Swanson got his meat hand in there before the ball was in his glove. It looked like it hit him right on the fingers. And he's feeling it right now. And he just got a little bit ahead of himself and put his bare hand in there. And you can see how quickly he snaps it up out of there because it gets hit right on the thumb. Actually, that ball took a little bit of a wicked hop. Caught him on the thumb.
And he's been charged with an error on the play, so the inning continues and gets Cavan Biggio to the plate. Swing and a miss by Cavan, 0-1. He is 0 for 2 with a walk tonight. A chance to get 3 games over 500 for the first time this season. And a chance maybe Teoscar stops smiling at some point in the next couple of hours, but not likely.
Not a chance. Not a chance.
Runner going, throw down, and they got him. Gurriel saying no. He wants the dugout to check. Gurriel looked like he got in his slide a little bit too early, and kind of the dirt slowed him down on his way into second base. John Schneider on the phone.
Boy, he might be right.
Yeah, he might have been.
Look at how Swanson has to reach for Gurriel. I don't know if he ever made contact, and Gurriel extends that mitten onto the bag. You're right. Boy, he got into his slide awfully early, and it did slow his momentum going into second for sure.
Yeah, I don't know which one, but that was one of Newton's laws of physics that slowed him down right there. He hit the dirt way too early, and he was screeching to a halt right before he was getting to second base. The left hand reaching the tag, coming down in the midsection. Hand looks like it's on the base. Looks like it's on the base before, but again, do they feel they've got, 100% convincing evidence to overturn the call?
Well, and this is an umpire review. The Blue Jays lost their challenge back in the first inning on that Bo Bichette play. They appealed that one and lost their challenge for the rest of the night. But here in the 9th inning, they can ask the umpires to have a look. Taking a long time.
Yeah. Gurriel with 11 career stolen bases in his time in the big leagues coming into this game tonight. Caught 7 times. Ozuna's come in from the outfield to have a chat with the Gurriel while they wait for New York to render its decision.
Yeah, I wonder if he's going to ask him if Ozuna has any more bats. Hey, can you send me one of those bats?
I don't know. I'd be taking one of Teoscar's bats if I was anybody else right now.
Yeah, I'm surprised Vladdy would use anything other than his own bat. Maybe he used Ozuna's bat last night as well, too.
Yeah. Teoscar's still smiling. No big surprise. Well, this one is taking a long time. The longer it takes, the more you think maybe they're going to overturn it. Headsets are coming off now, and he is out. So that will end the top of the 9th inning. A big home run for Teoscar Hernandez. Gives the Blue Jays a 3-run lead going to the bottom of the 9th.
Welcome back to Blue Jays Baseball, powered by Jack Links. I'm Rob Wong. This inning is brought to you by your Ontario Honda dealers. The Honda Checkered Flag event is back at a $750 Honda bonus on all 2021 Civic sedan models. Shop online at HondaOntario.com. Let's take a look at the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Right now in the bottom of the 8th inning, it's the Athletics up 4-1 on the Red Sox in Boston at Fenway Park. Earlier, the Yankees blanked the Rays 1-0 in Tampa Bay, while it was the New York Mets picking up a 7-1 win over the Baltimore Orioles. Blue Jays looking to take the first 2 of 3 in this series against the Braves, as Teoscar Hernandez has been the star of the show for the Blue Jays tonight. A pair of home runs, a solo shot in the 7th inning, and then in the 9th inning, a 2-run homer to give the Blue Jays a little bit more cushion here as they lead it 4-1 in the bottom of the 9th inning. Hyunjin Ryu, the starter for the Blue Jays tonight, went 7 innings, gave up an earned run, striking out 6 on 5 hits and a walk. Tyler Chatwood facing the Braves for the second straight night, and for the second straight night, a 3-up, 3-down inning with a pair of strikeouts in the 8th. A.J. Cole was warming up for the Blue Jays in the bullpen, as it looks like he'll come in to try to close this one out. Don't forget, after it's all said and done, it'll be Jays Talk with Show Ali and myself. The Blue Jays up 4-1 on the Braves, heading to the bottom of the 9th inning.
Don't forget, it is a day game tomorrow between the Blue Jays and the Braves. Blue Jays Central comes your way at noon. First pitch at around 12:20 Eastern time. You can see it on Sportsnet and Sportsnet Now. It'll be Charlie Morton for the Braves, Ross Stripling for the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays hoping that they will be going for a sweep tomorrow, and they're in good shape right now. Up 4-1, going bottom 9 with A.J. Cole into the game.
A.J. Cole making just his second appearance, as Dan mentioned earlier. He's been on the taxi squad all year long, and he did have a save last year, and he had a pretty good regular season for the Blue Jays. He was 3-0 with a 309 earned run average last season, and he's a guy that can come in and really throw that slider anytime he wants. Defensively, Teoscar moves from right field to left field, as they have put Jonathan Davis in defensively in center field. He'll bat in the 9th spot, and with that, Critchett goes from center to right.
So Lourdes Gurriel Jr. is out of the game, and the pitcher A.J. Cole is in the 6th spot in the Blue Jay lineup. And Cole will face Ozzie Albies, Austin Riley, and Dansby Swanson. 4, 5, 6 in the Atlanta lineup. Great news that Chatwood got Acuna, Freeman, and Ozuna. The big 3 at the top in the 8th inning. Albies turns around to bat from the left side against Cole, and he takes outside, ball 1.
We mentioned Cole with a terrific year last year, and you know he has bounced around. Began his career with Washington. He's pitched with the Yankees, Cleveland, and this is his second go around with the Blue Jays.
Can't have enough depth this year. The Blue Jays have learned that, and they keep finding guys to come out of the bullpen and get big outs for them, and hoping A.J. Cole can do that again tonight.
Yeah, and he throws a very good slider, but he's missed with his first 2 fastballs to Ozzie Albies. Got a cushion now. It's a 3-run game.
Pitch fouled off. It's 2-1.
Cole has 3 career saves.
Two one on the way to Albies, and a swing and a miss at a fastball away to even it up at 2-2.
Yeah, not much of a swing from Albies right there. It looked like it was very much off the plate. He just kind of waved at it.
And now the 2-2 golf to center field, but right there is Jonathan Davis, one down. Meanwhile, in the bullpen, the just-in-case guy right now is Travis Bergen. And this is interesting because remember last night, if the Blue Jays needed some help in the ninth inning, if Romano couldn't get through it, Ryan Borucki was up. Didn't come into the game, but he was throwing. But Borucki's not up tonight. Don't know if that means there's anything going on with him, but Bergen is up in the bullpen right now.
Yeah, I just think it's about conserving some innings for the game tomorrow. As you mentioned, the Blue Jays will finish up with the day game tomorrow and then head home and welcome in the Phillies over the weekend.
A strike taken by Austin Riley. The Phillies, a couple of games over 500, entering play today in second place in the National League East. The 0-1 a fastball outside of the knees. Good velocity at 95, but a Cole missed. It's a ball and a strike.
Yeah, it'll be the Phillies, the Red Sox, and the Tampa Bay Rays in the final homestand of the season, played at TD Ballpark in Dunedin.
Swing and a miss, 1-2.
Blue Jays have really hit the ball well in TD Ballpark as a team, and individuals have had dramatic splits home and road, much better at home. They played a lot of road games already, Dan. This is their 23rd road game of the season. Actually, 24th road game of the season.
And 35th game overall. 1-2 is upstairs, 2-2. So again, with more home games coming, you got to believe they're going to get healthier at some point. And they haven't played the Orioles yet, haven't played the Tigers yet. They've got some of the weaker teams still out in front of them. They've got 19 games with the Orioles from June 18th to the end of the season. Won't see Baltimore for 5 more weeks. 2-2 is out of play. Can they navigate their way through a tough part of the schedule with a shorthanded roster because of all the injuries and just keep doing what they're doing? Stay on the right side of 500 until they get healthy.
Well, and this is just an attitude, too. I think an overall team attitude has been, hey, you know what, dealing with injuries, but we've got confidence in everybody, whether it's A.J. Cole or Santiago Espinal, it doesn't make any difference. They have so much depth, and I think Charlie's done such a great job of making sure nobody sits for a real long time, whether you're a position player or a pitcher, a relief pitcher. He is mixed and matched, and a lot of it out of necessity, but he's done an effective job with it.
Cole will back off the rubber. A full count on Riley with a 1 down in the bottom of the ninth. The Blue Jays up 4-1. Boy, there are only so many pitches, and they just can't get together.
That was inside with the fastball, outside with the fastball. He offered slider curve, and now Janto's got the right one he wants.
3-2 to Riley, and just missed down and in, ball 4.
It looked like a cutter that he got underneath and backed it up. One thing you have to think about now in the bottom of this order is, where's Pablo Sandoval? You keep looking over your shoulder, and you don't want another guy to get on base because that will present the opportunity for Sandoval to come into this ball game representing the tying run. That's why Travis Bergen is up, but Sandoval is a switch hitter, so he really has the upper hand no matter who comes in.
Swanson 0 for 3, and a first pitch swing and a miss, 0-1. Got a helmet on, got a bat in hand, and he is ready to roll if his number is called.
Yeah, and he doesn't need any coach or manager to say, hey, get ready, you might hit.
And pop foul out of play, 0-2. Blue Jays have the shift on against Swanson. Vladdy's kind of playing off the bag a few feet with the runner Riley over at first. They're not as concerned with Riley. Guerrero just wants to take up a little bit more space over on the right side in case Swanson hits the ball over there. Cut down on things a little bit. Ryu, 7 innings, a run on 5 hits. Chatwood a perfect 8th, and now Cole in the 9th. And the 0-2, Swanson reaches for it, lifts a fly ball to center field. Lots of room for Davis, and that's the second out.
Well, AJ does such a good job of keeping that ball away from right-handed hitters, and he went with that slider, and that's his bread and butter. He can really locate that slider down and away, and he gets a lazy fly ball to center. Now just 1 out from another win for the Blue Jays, another comeback win. It'll be their 9th comeback win of the season.
And the rookie catcher William Contreras, who is responsible for the only Braves run of the night, a home run back in the 5th, 1 for 3 overall. First pitch from Cole, a swing and a fly ball to left. Hit fairly well. Teoscar back. He's got room, and he makes the catch, and the Blue Jays will beat the Braves for the second night in a row. A couple of home runs for Hernandez, and outstanding pitching tonight for the Blue Jays as they get to 3 games over 500 for the first time this season.
Boy, a terrific start by Hyunjin Ryu. Tyler Chatwood does his thing for a second straight night. Clutch hitting by Teoscar, of course, and he hit the go-ahead home run in the 7th and then gave him an insurance home run, a 2-run shot in the 10th. And the Blue Jays can sweep the Braves for the season with a win tomorrow afternoon here in Atlanta.
How about that? It'll get going nice and early. Blue Jays Central starts at noon Eastern. Jays Talk is next on the Blue Jays Radio Network.
It is Jays Talk, brought to you by your Ontario Honda dealers. Blue Jays picking up yet another win against the Atlanta Braves. Tonight it's a 4-1 final at Truist Park. Rob Wong, Show Ali with you as we're here for the full hour. Plenty of time to get in your thoughts. Text us 590-590. Give us your name and your location. You can also tweet us at WongSN590, at SNS Ali with 2 L's. We'll chat with Kevin Barker coming up in just a few moments' time to get his thoughts on tonight's ball game. But show Teoscar Hernandez, the star of the game tonight. A 2 for 3 night. Both of his hits were homers, a solo shot, and then a 2-run homer in the top of the 9th inning to give the Blue Jays some insurance runs. And when Teoscar hits a home run, it goes pretty far. It's not a wall scraper by any means. This guy only hits bombs, a 460-foot homer on his second one that gave the Blue Jays some insurance in the top of the 9th inning. You posed the question on Twitter, and we'll talk to Kevin about this. He isn't a free agent for a few more years, but I know the extension talks have already begun amongst the fan base, dating back to even last year. I was considering it as well. But this guy, if he continues to hit like he did last year as a Silver Slugger and hit like he has so far this year, he's in line for a pretty big payday, you would think, over the next few years.
Yeah, exactly. I think I would imagine any discussion about contract extensions for Teoscar Hernandez, because you're having them last year in a 60-game season. I think he only played 50 games last year, thereabouts. So I think the question of whether or not he could keep it up was valid, and then all the COVID stuff that happened this year. So I totally get that maybe some fans want to pump the brakes on any contract extensions a little bit. But yeah, you'll have to be buying out some part of his arbitration eligible years as well. So I'm sure that's going to be part of any conversation. But yeah, whether it's the Blue Jays or someone else, Teoscar Hernandez looks like he's going to make himself a very rich man, because like you said, he has just been absolutely on fire, just cratering home runs. Like, my goodness, it's been a lot of fun to watch him since he's come back off the COVID list. Like, remember we heard from him a couple of weeks ago, and they talked about how not only did he have it and he could barely move, but his wife had it and his kid had it. So it's really cool to see him come back and succeed to the level at which he's succeeding.
Yeah, really great to see, of course. And the OPS now up to 844 on the season, batting .293. And he has been on a tear since coming back from that COVID IL, and it just gives you more optimism, more hope when you look at this lineup moving forward, with George Springer getting healthier and hopefully making his return soon. And you're hoping guys like Lourdes Gurriel and Danny Jansen, Kevin Biggio, they all start to heat up. Then you really get a look at what this lineup can potentially be when it's full power. But tonight, Teoscar Hernandez carrying the Blue Jays to a victory as Hyunjin Ryu goes 7 innings to get the win. 7 innings for the second time this season, gave up just 1 earned run on 5 hits and a walk, 6 strikeouts. Vintage Hyunjin Ryu as he drops his ERA to 2.95 on the season. Tyler Chatwood with a big inning as well in the 8th with a pair of strikeouts facing the top of the Braves order, Acuna, Freeman, and Ozuna for the second straight night, and he gets the job done. And then A.J. Cole, who was just added to the team a few days ago, he gets the save in the bottom of the 9th inning as the Blue Jays capture this one 4-1. So we'll get to Kevin in just a few moments here, but show who is your player of the game.
Despite all the praise I lavished on Teoscar, I'm going to go with Hyunjin Ryu. 7 innings, 5 hits, 1 earned run, just 1 walk, and 6 strikeouts. He did give up the solo home run to Contreras, but, he has just been absolutely phenomenal, right? Apart from that one game where he took himself out of the game with the glute strain, he has been absolutely great for for large parts of this season. And, you look at it, we just talked about contracts, right, when it comes to Teoscar Hernandez. I think our pal Josh Goldberg posed the question on Twitter, that or the statement, I guess, that the deal for Ryu for the Blue Jays is an absolute steal, and I think he's making around $20 million a year. That is absolutely phenomenal for the production you're getting from Hyunjin Ryu. It's great to have that number 1 spot completely stabilized, because I think everyone, teammates, fans, the media, just feels at peace. They feel calm when when Hyunjin Ryu is working things on the mound.
I'll go with Teoscar Hernandez as my player of the game. The big 2 homers tonight, of course, giving the Blue Jays the win this evening. So we talked a lot about Teoscar. Pretty easy for me that he is the player of the game. Blue Jays win it 4-1 over Atlanta. You're listening to Jays Talk, brought to you by your Ontario Honda dealers. Kevin Barker joining us now as we get his thoughts on the ball game tonight. And Kevin, let's start with Teoscar, who's been on a tear since coming back from the COVID IL. He got off to a bit of a tough start before he landed on the COVID injured list. What are you seeing from him at the plate right now? Because it's starting to look a lot like the guy that we saw in last year's season when he won the Silver Slugger Award.
I saw Teoscar Hernandez playing the outfield, running the bases at the plate. It was a lot about baseball IQ. Did he have enough of that to be an everyday big league baseball player and hit in the middle of your order? Well, when you first saw him, you would have said no to that. He's very raw. He really didn't know what he was doing. He was a crazy athlete. He was trying to get through at bats, get through games just because of his athleticism. Now, all of a sudden, you're starting to see he's got confidence. Charlie and the Blue Jays put him in that cleanup spot. That's a lot of confidence. That's the one guy that you think can carry your team on a consistent basis. He's made some adjustments with his lower half mechanically. It's simple. It's repeatable with that little knee turn. He doesn't have as much of a leg kick. Obviously, what that does is keep your eyes still. When your eyes are still, the ball doesn't move as much. That'll allow you an opportunity not to chase balls. He's going to chase because he faces a ton of right-handed pitching, and a lot of that is a lot of velocity, and it feeds off that looking like a fastball and dives off the plate. That slider, he's going to chase, but you can see what he can bring with using the big part of the field. He gets out in front of a little something that has, a little bit of run to it, like that cutter that is not as hard. It's somewhere around 84 miles an hour, but he stays with that nice approach inside the baseball, thinking right center. Just because of the mile per hour, he gets out in front a little bit. He can keep that fair, hit that ball 460 feet to left center. He's the one guy you look at this in this lineup that you think consistently could go 30-30 and you're pushing 40-40. That's when everything's going the way it's supposed to go. Now they're starting to move him around from right field to left field, so his athleticism's taken over. Now all of a sudden his baseball IQ's starting to catch up, and I don't want to say sky's the limit, but you can almost say that what is the limit for him? Is there one? Could you start seeing a Jose Bautista kind of thing where it's pushing 50 home runs and he can consistently do that? I don't know if that's the case or not, but a legitimate run producer. I talk about this all the time with Jeff Blair. The Blue Jays don't really have one. The guy that can, when the game's on the line, he comes to the plate. Everybody stops what they're doing. They tune in because they think something special can happen. Maybe Teoscar's turning into that guy.
I want to ask you as well, Kevin. We were talking about Teoscar Hernandez and the conversation in the fan base having about whether or not it's time to give him an extension. Do you think it's too early to have that conversation, or can it ever be too early to have that conversation about any player?
Yeah, I think it's a little too early. I'd love to see him do it a consistent entire year. The one thing that every good player needs to start doing is playing every day, going to battle every single day, having your name written in the lineup. That's a big thing. That comes with the baseball IQ thing, right? It's knowing when to push the envelope a little bit and when not to, right? It's going for diving for a baseball. It's running into the wall. It's when you're trying to max effort running down the line, when you're trying to turn in a single into a double. Those are little things that can keep you in the lineup and ultimately get you where you want to go. Look, the talent is off the charts. It's can he put the everyday battles that he has to go through together and turn into the guy that we all think he can turn into. Right now it looks like he can. And you have to say that the Vladimir Guerrero thing, hitting in front of him, he's watching the way they're pitching Vladdy, and basically that's how you're trying to get Teoscar out. It's basically hard in off the plate and soft away. Well, if he's seeing Vladdy doing that and he can see which way the breaking ball's moving and he's seeing how hard the fastball is and how much life it has to it, that's giving him information before he walks to the plate, and that's only going to make him a better hitter. And look, this is the one thing that you want to see Teoscar doing is hitting in the middle of the order and driving in big hits.
Yep, absolutely. It's looking like the guy that we saw in last year's season, and of course a little bit prior in 2019. Kevin Barker joining us here on Jays Talk, brought to you by your Ontario Honda dealers. Rob Long and Show Ali with you. Blue Jays winning at 4-1 over the Braves tonight. And Hyunjin Ryu, you could tell early on, Kevin, this guy had the A stuff going tonight, pitches into the seventh inning for the second time this season. And this is why Ryu is, everybody's favorite pitcher to watch on this Blue Jays staff, because he doesn't, throw 97 like we see with a Steven Matz or a Robbie Ray. He's a thinking man's pitcher, and he's working around guys like Ronald Acuna Jr. and made Freddie Freeman look silly tonight. And Marcell Ozuna, I know he's not having a great year, but this is a guy that can hit lefties pretty well. It's just so entertaining to watch a guy use his smarts and his ability, of course, to work his way around a lineup. Well, what did you think about Ryu's game tonight? Yeah,
he's one guy in Major League Baseball that makes you cover the entire zone at different speeds and shapes to all of his pitches. Look, it's that one at bat will tell you what kind of pitcher Ryu is and how hard it is to catch him and how hard it even is to coach him. When Adrianza, is that how you say it?
Yep.
Was pinch hitting, and then he actually looked into the dugout and called Pete Walker out and basically said, now, he's going to get all of my pitches. It's when he's going to get them. You're right, he's got 4 different pitches. He's going to throw them in any time and any count. But it's basically, should I start him off with slow stuff or do I need to start him off with hard stuff? How do I want to get him out? It's those kind of things. So it's basically like I'm coming up with a game plan of I'm going to start you off with slow stuff, but I want to get you out with hard stuff. So he's got a curveball and a changeup he can start you off with, sort of slowing you down, getting you to look out in front of the plate, and then he'll speed you up with a four-seamer that's elevated, and then he's got that little cutter that he's trying to get weak contact on. I'm thinking when I'm sitting on the couch, if I'm on the on-deck circle, how would you attack a guy like that? There really is no other approach other than if I'm hitting against him, I'm taking the plate and I'm splitting that thing right down the middle. I'm not going to look for one of those pitches because you can't, right? He'll throw the same pitch 4 or 5 times in a row. So it's not like you can go up and sit on fastball, because if you do, you may never get one. So basically what you're doing, I was a left-handed hitter. I would probably give him the inside part of the plate. I'm going to look the outside part of the plate, and I'm going to look for any pitch, and hopefully I can get a strike, and maybe I can soft serve something to left field. But you can just see these guys when they're trying to hit against him and trying to actually game plan against all of these things on how you're going to barrel something up and drive a baseball into the outfield. It's got to be frustrating because there's not really any way to attack him. And when he's got the breaking ball working, when he can spin it the way he was spinning it tonight, it's going to look that way. He's going to give you, what did he have? He had 83 pitches after 6 innings. That's about as good as it gets. A left-hander doesn't throw 98 miles an hour, who's carving you up with both sides of the plate and can elevate it and can pitch down and can basically do it anytime he wants to. Look, he's some kind of special. This is what the Blue Jays need, especially on the road. When you can get starting pitching like this and can give a young lineup like the Blue Jays a chance to figure out how to score some runs, look, you could argue, most of the time that the Blue Jays can win most of these games.
Speaking of pitching, Kevin, before we let you go, are we ready collectively to have the conversation about Alek Manoah? Because I'm sure, I haven't looked yet, but I'm sure the Jays Talk text line, and I'm sure with you and Jeff Blair on Baseball Central, I'm sure the text line is filling up with questions about Alek Manoah, and I'm sure it'll be continuing after a 6 innings pitched, 1 hit, no earned runs, 5 strikeout appearance down in Buffalo tonight.
Yeah, well, it'd be real hard. It's when do you think about calling him up and giving him an opportunity to pitch at the big league level? Why did Nate Pearson get sent down? Because of mound presence and controlling his fastball. What does Alek Manoah do? He has great mound presence and he controls his fastball. That's the couple of things that you need to look at to see what separates him from everybody else. The walks, what did he have? 1 walk tonight? He continues to throw his fastball to both sides of the plate. He's got a pretty good secondary pitch. It's the mound presence. That's the one thing that stood out to you when you got to watch a little bit of him in spring training, was about how much conviction he had with every pitch. I got a fastball that you can't hit. I'm going to continue to throw it, and there ain't nothing you can do about it. That's going to push the envelope with the Blue Jays organization, and sooner or later, I would think you're going to see him at the big league level.
Yeah, well, the interesting thing, I guess, just from what I saw on Twitter, people were saying on the broadcast that Ross Atkins was actually in Trenton tonight to watch Alek Manoah. So take that for what you will, but it does feel like we're getting closer at some point here to see Alek Manoah throw pitches for the Blue Jays at the big league level. As always, Kevin, appreciate the time, and enjoy the rest of the night.
Okay, have a good night, everybody.
All right, there's Kevin Barker joining us here on Jays Talk, brought to you by your Ontario Honda dealers. Rob Wong, Show Alley with you. Blue Jays win it 4-1 over the Braves. They've now won 5 straight against Atlanta. They'll look to sweep away the season series tomorrow afternoon. It's a 12:20 p.m. Eastern first pitch as Ross Stripling will get the start for the Blue Jays up against Charlie Morton. And I said at their show that Ross Atkins, apparently, according to the radio broadcast for the Bison's game tonight in Trenton, to watch Alek Manoah. I think that's a good sign if you're Alek Manoah, unless Ross Atkins was there to watch Logan Warmoth, who hit a 3rd homer tonight on the AAA season. But what do you make of that interesting development?
Yeah, it certainly seems to make me think that our cohort here on Jays Talk, Josh Goldberg, will be eating his words about the about Alek Manoah not pitching for the Blue Jays at some point this year. Because he is going to be great. I think what are the stats? I think I saw Hazel May tweeted out earlier. He's so far through 2 AAA starts, he's had 12 innings pitched. He's allowed 3 hits, no earned runs. So, of course, his ERA is at 0. He has 2 walks on the season, and he has 17 strikeouts. 17 Ks. That's insane, right? I feel like it would still behoove the development of Alek Manoah to have him remain down at the AAA level, maybe even if it's just for 1 more month, right? Maybe if it's at this time in June, if we're having a conversation about Alek Manoah getting called up, that's probably best for his development. But look, if he continues to dominate like guys and make them look silly, then I guess to play as devil's advocate, you're kind of asking yourself, what is the benefit to just having him continually just do what he's doing down there instead of having him improve a little bit more in the majors? So I see that argument. I just think for now, I would like to get him maybe 5 to 7 AAA starts, and we'll see what the schedule is like for the Bisons until mid-June. But that's in my head the time frame that the Blue Jays are working with. But if he forces them to speed it up, more power to him, right?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is we have to start taking a little bit more of a progressive approach with it, I guess, because normally we would say, oh, this guy needs more seasoning, he needs to be down in the minors, but that's such a broad approach. The Blue Jays clearly know what they have in Alek Manoah, and maybe they do feel, hey, we see 1 more start, we're calling him up. We can't treat him like Nate Pearson just because it didn't work for Nate Pearson and he had to get sent down. Nate Pearson is dealing with mechanical issues. That's not what Alek Manoah is dealing with. He's not down there working on, mechanical stuff. He's down there trying to gain experience and, obviously try to get better as a pitcher. But every pitcher and every player is under a different circumstance. So I think it's, we get kind of caught up, especially with minor leaguers, and saying, oh, well, you can't call them up yet because they've only done this or that. There's numerous examples of, players that get called up when you least expect it, or players that are down in the minors for longer than you've expected. It's just on an individual basis. So, while there may be people that don't agree with Alek Manoah getting called up, maybe the Blue Jays feel differently, and they feel that he is going to be ready pretty soon. But pretty good start to his AAA career for Alek Manoah. I'm sure we'll be reading some text about that coming up. You can get us on the text line 590-590. Give us your name and your location. You can also tweet us at WongSN590, at SNS Alley with 2 L's. Blue Jays win it 4-1 over the Atlanta Braves tonight. We'll hear some post-game audio. We'll get to your text as well. Here with you until the top of the hour. It's Jays Talk, Rob and Show on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
And we're back at the kitchen cupboard. Just as bare as it was last inning, that'll teach you to stock up on Jack Link's beef jerky. Jack Link's. Feed your wild side.
Make your next career move with 2 Men in a Truck. The company is hiring motivated and enthusiastic team members for mover, driver, and customer service positions. And if you're looking for more, professional advancement is always a possibility. In fact, 75% of 2 Men in a Truck managers started in frontline positions. Now is the time to apply. Visit 2meninatruck.ca and click careers.
2 Men and a Truck, the movers who care.
Bird feeders are a great way to bring nature to your backyard. They're also great for getting the kids away from the screen and outside into the fresh air. Hi, I'm Ben Wagner, and if you want the most popular yard on the block, look for Armstrong Bird Food at your local retailer. Armstrong has high-quality seed blends, suets, and treats that attract a wide variety of birds. Visit ArmstrongBirdFood.com for your nearest retailer. Armstrong Bird Food, feeding Blue Jays and other feathered friends since 1986. Try Jack Link's beef jerky, available in jumbo-sized bags. It's the beef jerky version of having a donut on your bat in the on-deck circle. Jack Link's. Feed your wild side.
Dear Ontario, thanks for showing that adversity brings out our better selves, that we makes us stronger than I. Thanks for buying local, like the 2021 CRV LX, proudly built in Ontario, with great standard features like a remote starter. Lease one for 60 months right now from just $82 weekly at 2.99% and 0 down, including the $750 Honda bonus. Stay proud, Ontario. Your friends at Honda. Taxes extra, made with domestic and imported parts. By appointment only. See HondaOntario.com.
And Teoscar swings at the first pitch, sends it to deep right center field. Gone! And just like that, the Blue Jays have taken the lead.
Teoscar Hernandez with one of his 2 homers on the evening, a solo shot in the 7th to give the Blue Jays the lead, and then a 2-run homer in the 9th to give them some insurance. They beat the Braves 4-1 tonight at Truist Park in Atlanta. It's Jays Talk, brought to you by your Ontario Honda dealers. Rob Wong, Show Alley with you. Still to come, we'll get to your texts and your tweets. You can text us 590-590. Give us your name and your location, your thoughts on the game tonight. And, of course, we can talk a lot about Alek Manoah, who had another strong start down in AAA for the Buffalo/Trenton Thunder/Bisons. Have we come up with a name yet, Show, for this AAA hybrid team? I think I saw some people kind of put it out that way, that they're the Buffalo Trenton Thunder Bisons or something like that.
The
which
Thunder
I think would be
Bisons.
pretty cool. Wow. Yeah, but Alek Manoah, 6 innings, no earned runs. Once again, gave up 1 hit, 2 walks, and 5 strikeouts in his outing tonight for the AAA affiliates of the Toronto Blue Jays. But before we get to your texts, let's hear from Teoscar Hernandez, who, like I mentioned, had a 2-homer effort tonight. Here's what he had to say post-game with Sportsnet's Hazel May.
Congratulations on your 10th career multi-home run game. Teo, about a week ago during your Zoom call, you told members of the media that you're a different hitter now than you were in the first 7 games of the season. How different are you?
I mean, I'm just trying to be more patient at the plate, looking for my pitch and try to put a good swing on it. And I know that was coming. Well, like I was saying, I mean, I'm just trying to be more patient and at the same time aggressive with my pitch and try to put a good swing and when I get it.
You've got Vladdy Guerrero Jr. hitting ahead of you. You've got Randall Grichuk hitting behind you. What does being sandwiched in a couple of really hot hitters do for you there at the plate?
I mean, it helped me a lot because now they have to be more careful with Vladdy and obviously with me because Grichuk is hitting behind me. That make us even more comfortable at the plate because I know they they trying so hard that they're gonna miss every time they're gonna throw a pitch, like a good pitch. They're gonna lift it over the middle, and we're gonna do some damage.
What a terrific pitching performance by Hyunjin Ryu, Tyler Chatwood, A.J. Cole. Teoscar, what does it say about you and your teammates, given all the injuries, that you guys are 3 games above 500 for the first time this season?
I mean, obviously that was an awesome job by the pitchers, by Ryu, Chatwood, and Cole. We just try to stay together. It doesn't matter who's got hurt. I think we got each other's back, and we try to stay together and go out there and have some fun and fight and win a ball game.
Speaking of having some fun, before I let you go, give me your critique of Hyunjin Ryu at the plate. I know you watched him during BP. Do you like his swing?
Yeah, I mean, he had a pretty good power. I think he didn't get any fastballs today. I think they were scared on him that he might maybe hit a homer today, but that was awesome for him. That was a pretty good job today.
There is Teoscar Hernandez speaking with Sportsnet's Hazel May post-game. And unfortunately for you, Sho, your prediction of Hyunjin Ryu getting on base tonight did not come to fruition. Took some hacks, to say the least, and looked pretty silly on a couple of them. But it was interesting to see on Twitter, our buddy Daniel Kim, who, of course, covers Major League Baseball from Korea, has known Hyunjin Ryu for a long time, tweeted out a video prior to the game of Hyunjin Ryu participating in the 2010 KBO All-Star Game Home Run Derby, and since he's a pitcher, they let him use an aluminum bat, and he actually hit one out, at least from what I could see on the quick video. Ryu was a hitter, of course, on his high school team, batted cleanup in his senior year, so this guy has some experience swinging the bat, but so does everyone, I think, that plays baseball. When you get to the major league level, you're obviously specialized if you're a pitcher and such, but everybody's swung a bat at least once in their life, and unfortunately tonight for Hyunjin Ryu, not able to get a base knock and not able to get on base, unfortunately for you.
Yeah, my prediction, getting on base more than once, just completely cratered, but that's okay. You know what? I'll take the 7 innings of just letting in 5 hits and just 1 run, right? So I think it's it all evens out in the end. But yeah, I mean, I guess that is really just to say, when we were talking in the pregame, Rob, about the universal DH coming potentially as soon as next year, and I think Dan and Buck talked about that a little bit today. But I want to say that I guess for a pitcher, we always say that Hyunjin Ryu bats pretty well, but I mean, overall, what was his batting average? It was like around 170 or something like that. Yeah. So if that's the case, then it's still not great. So, it was a relatively bold prediction, but yeah, I think in the end, I'll take the 7 innings and the win, because he has been phenomenal. I find it, like I said before, it's just a novelty, I guess, to see pitchers hit, but it's just, not very sustainable when these guys are also going out there and touching 95 to 100 miles an hour, every 15 seconds, basically.
Ryu does not get paid to hit; he gets paid to pitch, and he does that masterfully well for the Blue Jays, as he went 7 innings tonight, giving up 1 earned run as the Blue Jays win it 4-1 over the Braves. But we heard from Teoscar Hernandez there with Sportsnet's Hazel May, and we talked about how well he has played since coming back from the COVID injured list. And when you look at this lineup, Show, he slots in so perfectly, I think, in this cleanup hitter spot when everybody's healthy. I think even, if the way Marcus Semion's been hitting, I still have Teoscar there. I think in my sort of, optimal lineup when everybody's completely healthy, just as far as the top 5 goes, I'm looking at Springer, I'm looking at Vlad, I probably have Bo Bichette hitting third, Teoscar, and then Marcus Semien would be my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as far as the Blue Jays lineup goes. Teoscar is just sort of the perfect cleanup hitter in this lineup, a guy that can, obviously do a lot of damage like we saw tonight. He won the Silver Slugger Award last year for a reason. Where do you think he fits in optimally when everybody's healthy?
I think, I like him at the 4 spot for sure. I don't think that for me, Vladdy and Teoscar are moving out of those 3-4 spots, right? If you want to move them, like you said, Vladdy up to 2 or something like that, I think I could probably buy that argument. But if everyone is healthy, yeah, I think the 3 and the 4 spot for both those guys is where I love them. I think with Semien too, I would like to see him bat fifth. I wouldn't be surprised to see him bat a little lower to give those kind of the last couple of batters in the order a little more pop and see. And depending, and I think we saw Randall Grichuk bat fifth tonight. I wouldn't be surprised if he can keep it up at least to a degree to see Randall bat fifth and then maybe Simeon bat sixth. But if that was flipped and you ended up seeing some version of George Springer, Bo Bichette, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Teoscar Hernandez, Randall Grichuk, and then Marcus Simeon when everyone is healthy, of course. I think that's a great 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? I mean, that's on par with some of the best lineups, I think, in Major League Baseball right now, based on the way they're all hitting. Certainly, you have to hope that they all continue to hit like that. But, I mean, over the last couple of games, Simeon has really heated up. He had another RBI tonight. It's just, I think, if Simeon is batting sixth and Grichuk is batting fifth, those are those are good quote unquote problems to have, I feel like.
Absolutely. And the reason I have Vlad batting second is just because he gets on base more than Bo Bichette. So I think that's intriguing that you would have a guy that gets on base more often, and you can have someone that can, drive him in, as opposed to the way it is right now. It's, not the end of the world having Vlad bat behind Bo or anything, but, Bo doesn't get on as much as Vlad. So sometimes it's a case where Vlad is coming to the plate with nobody on in front of him, whereas the reverse, You could do it where you'd have Vlad on base, and then you could have Bo there, of course, trying to drive him in. But the Blue Jays offense looking good right now, the pitching as well, as they win it 4-1 over the Atlanta Braves. We've got to talk about Tyler Chatwood once again, who was phenomenal again this evening with a pair of strikeouts for the second straight night, pitching a clean frame for the Blue Jays, facing the top of the Braves order, which is not easy by any means when you've got to take on Acuna, Freeman, and Ozuna. And Tyler Chatwood has been one of the best stories of this bullpen. I tweeted out there's been a ton of great stories in this bullpen, and it just seems like every few weeks there's a new one. And Tyler Chatwood rising to become a high leverage reliever on this Blue Jays team is just the latest. This is a guy that began the season pitching in the sixth inning for this team. I think some people thought he might be a multi-inning type reliever. But now he's in a spot here with injuries and such where, we might even see him get some closing opportunities the next little while. He came in a perfect spot, which was a high leverage situation at that point with the Blue Jays up 2-1 facing the top of the order in the bottom of the eighth, which was great managing, of course, by Charlie Montoyo to go to his best reliever in that spot. But, until some of these guys get back, whether it's Julian Merriweather or Rafael DeLeese, we're going to be seeing a lot of Tyler Chatwood in a lot of these big spots.
Yeah, Tyler Chatwood, I like the way you put it. He's definitely been one of the best stories of the year, right? I feel like a couple of weeks ago, it was probably like Anthony Castro or something like that. Then he went on the IL. But Chatwood has been such a stabilizing presence for much of this past little stretch here. And I think I almost feel like, Rob, and yet you can probably include Trent Thornton after last night's game in this conversation as well, in the sense that if either of those guys were on different teams, and their roles were even slightly different, I feel like their careers might have taken a completely different turn, right? If you look at Tyler Chatwood's year just last year when he was playing for the Cubs, and you look at, he had an ERA of over 5, and he was just getting banged around a lot, letting in tons of earned runs. And now, he's being used relatively sparingly, like you said, in these high leverage situations. The way he's played only instills and inspires more confidence in him. And I really do think, had he been on another team and his role been different, you might have never discovered this, right? So I give full credit to Ross Atkins, the coaching staff, Charlie Montoyo for utilizing him properly, because, like you said, he has become one of the more stabilizing presences in the bullpen, and then it's kind of doubly so. It's almost magnified because of all the injuries.
It's just kind of wild that this was a guy who, was a starter just a couple of years ago and struggled to keep the ball in the zone, was walking a ton of hitters. And this year with the Blue Jays out of the pen, he's walking, 2 batters per 9 innings, has not given up a single home run this year. Never really been a big home run prone type of pitcher. But I just love the fact that he has, really taken to this role. He's pitched out of the bullpen, previously did back in 2019 with the Chicago Cubs, but now he's just in there throwing 97 with the nasty cutter, just has a great arsenal of pitches. And when he's able to get out guys like Acuna, Freeman, and Ozuna, that really says a lot about his ability and what he can potentially do with this Blue Jays bullpen moving forward. The Blue Jays win it 4-1 tonight over the Atlanta Braves as they look for the series sweep tomorrow afternoon. Ross Stripling on the hill for the Blue Jays as he'll get the start looking to give the Blue Jays the sweep. And it's also a good show that they were able to get 7 innings out of Hyunjin Ryu tonight and use a pair of relievers. So outside of Tyler Chatwood, of course, and A.J. Cole, everybody's going to be available in the series finale. And with Ross Stripling on the mound, it's been a challenge for him, of course, to go deep into games. It's setting up perfectly for the Blue Jays if they do need to use some of those arms out of the pen in the series finale tomorrow.
And you know what? Based on what Ross Stripling has been so far this year, I don't want to just go ahead and call it a wash or anything like that. But based on the body of work so far this year, the chances are relatively high that Charlie Montoya will probably be calling to the bullpen a couple times, maybe past the 3rd or 4th inning. Because I think we were doing Jays talk and a couple people texted in about how they didn't want to see any more Ross Stripling, and I think Josh and I both kind of agreed with them at the time. Look, I'm hoping that tomorrow Stripling can, get his command a little back together, right? It just seemed like he was spraying the ball all over the place in his last start, but if he can get it based on what we've seen, if he can get the ball into through 4 innings, I think you got to consider that a win, right? That's where I think I'm at with Ross Stripling so far this year. It's just the bullpen stuff has been great for the Blue Jays. It has been absolutely superb. I actually see a text here. I'm looking at it right now. Josh from London, Ontario, and he says, tonight was a treat. The bullpen has been superb. In all caps, all caps, the bullpen has been superb considering the injuries our team has been dealt. Go Jays. And I just think that if you can give the bullpen a little bit of a rest, you can give them a little bit of a break like they've gotten over the last couple of nights, then you can afford to do this a little more. But I just don't think having your starter, in Ross Stripling's case, go 4 innings, it's just not sustainable. So here's hoping he does pull it together for tomorrow. I'm hoping he does, but I'm not going to hold my breath. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I think that's very well said. It's a situation where the Blue Jays obviously need some innings to get out of Ross Stripling, but he's not able to do it. Then obviously they can look to some of the pitchers out of the pen that have been really, really strong and can pick him up. Let's get to some text messages. You mentioned Josh from London. You can get them there. 590-590. Just send us your name and your location. What else are you seeing on the text line show?
I see a couple texts here, quite a lot here. So one from Wolf in Toronto, also a great name, Wolf. He says, I'd like to know your guys' thoughts on the 2 replay reviews today. I feel like both of them were called incorrectly. There have been controversial replay reviews this season, and it seems like they're getting them wrong more and more often. Thank you. That's from Wolf. And I guess it's not confusion. I'm not saying anyone's confused, but I guess the problem, Rob, with replay reviews is that sometimes maybe they might be wrong, right? Like sometimes maybe we, the media and we, the fans, we look at the replay reviews and you hear them and so on, and you think to yourself, okay, well, clearly the glove was not on Bichette's chest when his hand touched the base. But I guess sometimes it's really like ticky-tack, right? And if there's not enough to overturn it, then they're not going to overturn it, right? Because if Bichette had been called safe, for example, in the first inning, again, there's probably wasn't enough to overturn it to call him out. So it's just the bang plays, the slimmest of margins. I get people being frustrated with it, and I probably agree that both of them were called incorrectly. But the umpires probably are going to always err more on the side of what's called on the field than anything else.
Well, that is really the biggest thing, that it has to be sufficient evidence in order to overturn the call. If it's a situation where there's not enough, then they're just going to stick with the call on the field. And I think in the Bichette situation, the Gurriel Jr. situation as well, just a little bit too close. There wasn't definitive evidence that it should be overturned, so they decided not to overturn it. That's what's really tough about replays. You wish you could get it right 100% of the time, but sometimes they just do not have enough video evidence, not enough angles to really prove, one way or another if the call should be overturned or if they should keep it. And if that's the case, then they just stick with the call on the field. But at least we have video replay. Gone are the days where, a guy would clearly be safe and you'd see it on the slow motion replay just on the broadcast and you'd be like, how is this possible? So I know some people want to get rid of it because there are certain situations where, a guy's running back to the base and maybe he overruns it a little bit and his foot just comes off for a second and the guy holds on the tag and he's out. The spirit of the rule, the spirit of the game, maybe you could reverse those calls and, not allow those types of things. But then on the other hand, it's the old, if you're off the base, you're off the base. If you're on the base, you're on the base. It's one of those things where you could talk about it until you're blue in the face. But tonight, the calls did not go the Blue Jays' way. Fortunately for them, didn't matter as they win it 4-1 over the Braves. What else are we seeing on the text line show?
I see another one here from Robert in Ajax, and it's a one on Nate Pearson getting demoted, right? He says, a great start by Ryu tonight. I wanted to get your opinion on the demotion of Pearson. I personally think he may have had lots of nerves pitching with fans for the first time in his career. I don't think the best way to develop the top pitching prospect is to option him up and down the minors. I think the Blue Jays should have kept him up for a few more starts. We gave Roark a full year to have an ERA of 6. We can't give Pearson a few outings. What are your thoughts on that? And I mean, the Roark point is well taken, Robert. I get it, but at the same time, I guess if Pearson didn't have the mechanical issue, I think I would have banged the drum a little more for keeping him up in the majors, Rob. But with the mechanical issue and the timing and all that stuff, I feel like that's a legit reason to send him down, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still a little bit surprised that they did it, in the sense that I thought, hey, P. Walker's at the major league level. You know, we've seen what he's been able to do with guys like Robbie Ray and a lot of these other pitchers. Why not have the pitching guru of the Blue Jays work with the top prospect to try to work on those mechanical things? But the Blue Jays obviously felt that he'd be better suited down in the minor leagues. They know better than anyone, of course, and that's what he was working on before he got the call up. I think that might have been more surprising, that they called him up, you know, after that first start in AAA, but they just felt, you know, let's give him a shot here, because maybe he had figured something out in that start and they wanted to see if it was true. And that's not, it was not meant to be. He did not figure those things out, and struggled once again at the major league level as a starting pitcher. But I don't think we'll be seeing him for a while until he gets those things sorted out, because, as I said in last night's Jays Talk, that once they bring him up, it's got to be for good. I don't think they want to keep yo-yoing him up and down. So right. I don't think we'll be seeing Nate Pearson until he figures out this mechanical stuff that he's going to be working on. And maybe that's, you know, 2 to 3 starts, but I would guess it's going to be longer. They're going to want to see a longer track record of him being able to repeat that delivery over and over again, that, you know, when they bring him up here, that it's not going to have to be, you know, a conversation. That's not to say if he comes up and he gets knocked around again, or, you know, if the mechanical stuff rears its ugly head, that's going to happen. I mean, pitchers, as we've heard before, you know, only a small percentage of the time do they really have their A stuff, and the rest of the year it's either their B stuff, their C stuff, or, you know, their F stuff, and they're really trying to figure things out. But Nate Pearson, when he comes back, it's going to be a situation where the Blue Jays feel very confident that he is over that mechanical hurdle. And when they do bring him up, I don't think they want to have a scenario where they're going to be sending him back down to work on those things again. I think that would just be sort of disastrous for this Blue Jays organization.
Well, I remember after his suboptimal start, let's call it, being generous there with that. But after that, I remember you and Josh were speaking to Barker, and Barker talked about the confidence thing, right? And the confidence thing playing a part in whether or not, you know, guys want to yo-yo players between the majors and the minors. And I totally agree with that. That I 100% agree with, right? I think they can really only do it this one more time, because if he comes back up and they send him down again, I think not only will that, in my opinion at least, not only will that damage his confidence on the mound, I also feel like that might damage his confidence in the front office / not necessarily his teammates, but in the coaching staff and the front office, because he might think to themselves, well, it doesn't really matter what I do, barring, you know, throwing a no-hitter, I'm going to get sent down anyway. So, I know there was some talk of the Blue Jays probably fostering some internal competition, not just with Nate Pearson, and certainly not just with position players and all the younger guys there, but definitely between Pearson and Manoah, right? And I think by and large, from what we've seen from the outside looking in, that it's been pretty healthy competition and the guys seem to get along and so on. But at the same time, I think that you don't want to risk, not necessarily that this would happen, but you don't want to just risk alienating guys if you don't have to, right? And I think I privately sometimes wonder when you see stat lines like Manoah putting up it for the Thunder Bisons, I guess we're calling them. When you see the stat lines that he has, you think to yourself, well, if he gets called up and stays up, and Pearson is being yo-yoed, does that do anything for confidence, right? So I agree with you. I think when Pearson does come up, it has to be for good.
For sure. And once again, it's a scenario where each person is their own individual, and they have to be treated on a different basis. Just because Nate Pearson, you know, came up and got knocked around and has these mechanical issues and you send him down, that doesn't mean you can't call Alek Manoah up, you know, and start him from 5 days from now. The Blue Jays feel that he's ready because he's not, you know, working on those same things as I mentioned. So I think it's going to be interesting if he continues to pitch well. Alek Manoah does down in the minors. How long can the Blue Jays deny him a shot at least? Just give him, a taste of the major leagues. As we mentioned on the broadcast down in Trenton tonight, they said that Ross Atkins, the GM of the Blue Jays, was there to watch Alek Manoah pitch. So, what that means could be anything. Just, hey, maybe Ross was driving around Trenton and he was like, I'm going to stop in and watch this game, or maybe it was scheduled and he decided to go down there. I think that's more likely. I don't think Ross Atkins was just driving around Trenton to figure out what was going on there. But for him to stop by and look at this game and watch one of his top prospects pitch does say a lot. It says a lot that Ross Atkins is showing up in person. He obviously wants to check in on the AAA team as well. I'm sure he's checking in on all the minor league affiliates. But for him to show up and check it out, I just find that incredibly intriguing. And what that means moving forward, I have no idea. But it is really super interesting that he's watching Alek Manoah pitch in just his second AAA start. This isn't like, 5 starts in and Ross is checking it out. Like, he wants to check it out right now.
And I think, too, you look at the way other teams around Major League Baseball are treating their vaunted prospects. I mean, look at the Mariners, right? I think it was confirmed earlier today the Mariners not only called up one of their top position players, but they called up their top pitching prospect, Logan Gilbert. And that guy hasn't had a whole ton of AAA starts either, right? I mean, he had a couple, I think, but by and large, the guy is a relatively untested prospect. And I know Alek Manoah probably is sitting at the number 2 pitching prospect behind Nate Pearson himself, as we've been talking about. But I just think that as the game of baseball evolves, right, and certainly as pitchers are being used in different ways and pitch counts across the entire sport really are down because guys are being lifted earlier into games, I feel like the evolution of even how they're treated down in the minors has come so far to mean that you don't really have, like you were saying earlier, you don't have to get too much seasoning, right? I mean, I still think, because I'm a little more conservative when it comes to calling guys up, I personally would probably err more on the side of caution and say, okay, maybe wait until June. But look, if he's not getting any more development, and we're talking about Alek Manoah here, if he's not getting any more development and he is, he's just like making guys look like fools and look silly down in the minors, then he's not really getting much better, right? Like, the only way for him to evolve more with his game would be for him to come up to the majors and do the same thing at a major league level, right? Even if he struggles a little bit or he walks a couple guys or what have you, that's only good, I feel like, for his development. So I still don't think it'll happen until closer to the end of May, beginning of June, maybe even further. But if it happens before then, I would love to see it, because again, we're talking about Ross Stripling playing tomorrow. I mean, that also is not sustainable, right? So if they think that